especially with the short porch in right field. Well, there's 6 home runs in the game yesterday. And how many was it the day before? 7? 13 home runs in 2 games. And I think all but one, maybe all of them, have all gone to right field. Like, no kidding. That's where you hit home runs in Yankee Stadium. So you can't be that aggressive, and you don't want to give away outs there. But that's changed, right? It's gone back to just being a normal, modern 2025 offense. And by the way, they've been okay at it. But they need another bat. If that's the style of offense you want to play, and I think they should, you just need another bat to do it. You need to look like what that Yankees lineup has looked like the last couple of days, where it's long and deep, and it gets after you and bothers your pitching. And look, the Mariners pitching is not going to be the same on the road as it is at home. What's your split, Lyle? Give me your number. What's your split on the season so far, ERA-wise?
Home road.
Home road.
They are 6th in home ERA, and they're now 23rd in road. It's 3.32 at home and 4.47 on the road.
That's a really big difference, right? I mean, that's more than a run, 1.1, 1.2 runs.
Yeah.
And that's giant.
And this is the second year in a row this has been a thing, the home road splits.
Yeah, and a lot of that has been that Luis Castillo specifically has these like major home road splits. George Kirby usually is the guy you look at there because he's the one who's pounding the strike zone, right? And so that's a lot easier to do at T-Mobile, where you pound the strike zone, and like the risk factor of doing so isn't nearly as difficult, isn't nearly as dangerous as it would be, doing it somewhere else. But Logan Evans kind of the same way, right? I mean, at least Kirby's got a little bit more swing and miss stuff. Logan Evans does not. He seems like a guy that will absolutely benefit from playing half his games at T-Mobile. But you put him in a good, a small ballpark with a good lineup, and without that swing and miss stuff, those balls go a long way. It was nonstop yesterday. I mean, they just had so many hits off of him. So, look, I mean, the Mariners are built for, in some ways, look, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. They have some elements of this team that are built for cold weather. Like I was thinking as you watched that game yesterday, hot, muggy day in the Bronx, balls flying out of there for both teams. Polanco hit that ball a country mile to right field. My God, did that thing explode off his bat. But, I mean, you get 6 home runs in the game. The Mariners actually out-homered the Yankees yesterday. Rare to do that and lose. They can handle a game where you got to hit for power, but if you play that same game in Yankee Stadium in October, like if you meet them in the playoffs and you play that same game there in October, that ball does not fly out nearly as well as it does in early July on a humid night the day after a thunderstorm, right? That's just physics. I'm not a physicist, but I've also watched enough games in those East Coast parks to know that when you get to October, the 1-2 to 1, 3-2 type of game are a lot more common than they are in July. And the Mariners have shown an ability to win those games because of their pitching, because of their relievers, keep it close, right? And then get to your leverage guys late in the game. That's been the problem in the 2 Yankees games. You don't get a chance to use one of the main strengths of your team. And so you get these texts all last night. This team sucks. This team sucks. Jerry sucks. This sucks. And I got like 100 of them that came in last night. Well, yeah, when you don't get a chance to use the strengths of your team, you don't look good. I get it. And I'm not saying that this team is great, but one of their great strengths is Munoz, Brash, Spear, et cetera, at the end of the game. Spire. What's going on with me? Greg Spire, as Brock likes to say every time. Gabe Spire. Like that is one of the main strengths of this unit. It's not the low leverage guys, it's the high leverage guys. And you got to be in the game in order to do it. And it's a lot easier to be in those games when you're not playing in a bandbox where the ball's flying out of the park. So look, I'm not making excuses for the Mariners the last 2 days. You got to win in lots of different environments. And thankfully for them, Houston just got swept by Cleveland. Didn't see that coming. Unfortunately for them, the Red Sox have now won 6 in a row and find themselves tied in that second wild card. So a thought of the Red Sox selling on Alex Bregman doesn't seem too likely. If anything, they look like they could be buyers. And they've been better since trading Rafael Devers, just like Craig Breslow said they were going to be, which is crazy in its own right. But yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you play a game where you don't get to your strengths. This is what the Seahawks will look like if they can't run the ball. You get into a game where the other team keeps scoring and you can't run the ball, they're probably going to have some problems because they haven't built themselves to withstand that. But when they control the ground game and they're able to keep it close and all that, then yeah, the Seahawks are probably going to be pretty good in those games. And we'll see completely different versions of that team this year. Just like right now, we're seeing completely different versions of the Mariners. A week ago, they looked like one of the best teams in baseball. They go out on the road, play 2, and look awful. Yeah, they came back, give them credit. They tried to keep that game close. But they're a different team when they go to Brash and Munoz than they are when they go to, Legumina and Vargas and whoever else came in last night. Thornton. Like, it's different. Right? So, I don't know. I don't know if it's a panic thing. I'm not panicking after these 2 games, but you are showing that this is a club in your bag that right now is missing. Hey, guess what? There are actually some guys potentially available at the deadline that fix this problem. Right? This is why we're talking about Josh Naylor. This is why we're talking about Eugenio Suarez. Or adding both. I mean, you want 3 more runs in that game yesterday? You want a couple more threats to hit the ball out of the ballpark? There you go. Add those 2 guys to your team for the rest of this season. By the way, then you're not blocking Williamson or anybody else. Maybe one of them likes it here and wants to stick around long term. Okay, great. But, you want to add a couple more runs a game in the ballparks like Yankee Stadium that you'll see at times over the course of the year. They're out there. I mean, and I don't know whether Ryan O'Hearn is that. He's a good hitter. But and we've talked a lot about him. He's a fit, don't get me wrong. But adding just Ryan O'Hearn, to me, is not the same as adding one of those other guys. Just because of the sheer power that they have. And if you could add 2 of them, if you could say to the Diamondbacks, hey, look, you're out. You're 5 games out. Let's go. We're gonna overpay a little bit because we want both. Man, you really like all the problems you see from the team last night. I know it doesn't fix Logan Evans. But look, in a playoff game, you don't have Logan Evans, and he's going to make half of his starts at home where he's been just fine. Okay. I still see the path, but you can't have too many games, like you did over the last 2 nights. They got one more chance tonight, and they got their stopper, at least this year, Brian Wu on the mound, trying to continue that great streak. We'll give you everything you need to know next. It's Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
What does it take to get justice for a man paralyzed after a cycling accident? Thousands of documents reviewed, hundreds of thousands of dollars paid for experts and investigations, and over 6 years of hard-fought litigation fighting all the way to the Washington State Supreme Court. Because when King County said he deserved nothing, we proved he deserved better. $10 million better.
Everything that could be done was being done to help us.
Chris did a great job.
Call David's Law Group today at 206-888-8888.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app. Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
The perfect night out this summer is under the stars at the drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films, cool cars, and unforgettable memories all from the comfort of your own ride at the LeMay America's Car Museum Movie Nights. Bring the kids, pack snacks, and tune in for fun. The next showing is Transformers on July 27th. LeMay Drive-In Movies, where the big screen meets the open road. Space is limited, so reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, it's tough to win when you give up as many runs the Mariners have the past couple of nights. That's 19 in the last two. 10 in the opener. 9 more last night. It's just way too much to overcome.
The 3-2. Swung on, club, center field. Julio racing back. He's at the track. He's at the wall. Makes a leap. It's gone. Just over the wall. Des Chisholm with a home run. Solo homer. And the Yankees extend the lead. It's 4-1.
Yeah, that was a theme. Just over the wall. Just over the wall. 9 hits, 6 runs. Logan Evans could not make it out of the 5th inning, just unfortunately not giving his team enough of a chance to win that game. Carlos Vargas poured a little gas on that fire, and you end up with another tough night in Yankee Stadium. Here's what Logan had to say after.
I just think I needed to execute my 2-strike pitches a little bit better. I felt like I was getting ahead a little bit. I just felt like when I was time to put him away, I just wasn't making the pitch that I needed to.
Well, and that's part of the question about Logan Evans, right? And, good young pitcher trying to find his way, first start in Yankee Stadium. Does he have the out pitches with 2 strikes? That's kind of the big question there, right? It's one thing when you're playing Kansas City at home. It's another thing when you're playing the New York Yankees in the Bronx. And, yeah, he got ahead at times. He was able to get strikes, but you got to be able to put batters away, and that'll be sort of the next step in his development, especially against good teams. Now, there was some good news last night. The Mariners did hit 4 home runs, including this one.
Here comes the 0-2. Swung on, line drive, right field. Back is Judge. He's looking up, and it is gone. Home run, Cole Young. A huge smile on his face as he has done it. His first major league home run, and it comes at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, bummer to have it come in what ended up being a blowout. But, I mean, kind of put him within 3 runs. Like, they at least had a shot late. And so kudos to him. Hits his first home run along with Polanco, Crawford, and Arozarena. Series finale tonight. Brian Wu really needs to play stopper. He's been their best pitcher this year. He's their all-star. They could really use the best version of him today. He'll go against Marcus Stroman, who has not been good in 5 starts, giving up 16 runs in the 19 innings he's pitched this year. Astros lose, so the West still 6.5 games. You don't lose any ground. Red Sox win, though, so they are now tied for that 3rd wild card spot.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, 3 weeks exactly until the trade deadline. We continue to wait for the sellers to emerge. Baltimore and Ryan O'Hearn, still one of the easiest fits, but, is there enough upside there? The Diamondbacks have more upside, and they're now 4.5 games out of the wild card, so you would think that could be getting closer. David Schoenfield, we spoke to yesterday, and he is talked about that being an opportunity. He also said that this is the year to really try to make it happen.
I'll throw this out there. As good as the Tigers have been this year, they're solid. They're very deep, but they're beatable. At least when Derek Struble doesn't pitch, they're beatable. So if there's ever a year to go all in, it's this year. There's not a powerhouse team in baseball. The Dodgers have their issues. Tigers don't have a number 2 starter in my book. Yankees are vulnerable. So yeah, this year is the year to go all in.
All right, this is the year to go all in. Well, that means going out and getting a significant bat or 2. And it probably means adding a reliever as well. Nationals, Pirates, Guardians, Twins all have some legit dudes in their pen, including Paul Sewald, who could certainly make a return here to Seattle. But Jim Bowden on the station yesterday had a even bigger name.
And I know Jerry DePoto's always wanted Nathan Miller from the Athletics. I'm not sure he's going to get him on this time around, but it's certainly probably worth the conversation. I mean, the good thing about Jerry is the owners are willing to spend some money here at the deadline, and his prospect cabinet is full. So he has as good a chance of making a trade at the deadline of any of the contending teams in either leagues.
He's good. I mean, like, you add that to Matt Brash and Andres Munoz and Gabe Spire, like, that's a pretty good bullpen you'd have right there.
Oh, I'm a big Mason Miller fan.
Who isn't? I mean, everybody's a big Mason Miller fan. You add any of these guys that, Miller, Clase, Duran, Jax. There are some legit relievers available from teams that should be selling. So you need the bat, though, to go with it in order to not have games like yesterday where it doesn't matter how many good dudes you have in your pen. It's not enough because you don't have an opportunity to use them in leverage situations.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, ESPN's Top 10 continues today as they are doing the safeties. And guess what? The Seahawks have one on the list.
Hurts is going to throw again, has all day. Going to throw deep. Got a man deep. Love intercepts.
Love is right there, stride for stride with the receiver, and he intercepts in the end zone.
Hey, how about that? Julian Love climbing the ranks, now stands as the 10th best safety in the game. Here's what they had to say about him. Love has used his 2-year stint in Seattle to catapult his career, racking up 7 interceptions, 22 pass deflections, and 232 tackles. He's a 21.8% ball hawking rate, topping all safeties with at least 50 targets this past season. There's some really nice things written about him here as well. I'll read them over the course of the morning in Need to Know. If you're wondering who was ahead of him, Kyle Hamilton, Brian Branch, Xavier McKinney, Jesse Bates, Kirby Joseph, Derwin James, Antoine Winfield Jr., Buda Baker, and Minka Fitzpatrick. That is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I saw ESPN doing off-season grades for every NFL team. Seahawks got a B-, and basically was like, yeah, everything they did was good. Why didn't they get a guard? Like, yeah, basically. Yeah, that's it. If you're going to deal away DK Metcalf and save the money, it's got to go to the offensive line. That's the whole point. And that's the one thing I keep looking at. That and, is there an opportunity to go get yourself a legit, real big-time pass rusher off the edge? And Trey Hendrickson is the one that's potentially available, so he's the name that I'll focus on. I'm not saying he's the best, just that he's the one that's potentially available. Maybe Watt. That one seems harder for me to imagine that he's going to get dealt. So, yeah, you focus on somebody who could be available. Go get him. If you just, for whatever reason, don't like the guard situation, which, I don't know, you need guards. Like, you just don't have one. But if for some reason you don't think that those guys are upgrades, then go get somebody who can really rush the passer. That, to me, would be the other thing you could do to really just make this team even better than it's been. All right. Let's see. Who is joining us today? Oh, Adam Jude is going to join us at 8:30. We'll talk to him. Doing a great job on the Mariner beat. Get a sense as to what he thinks could happen at the deadline and what he's seeing in the clubhouse and what has happened here in New York. A whole bunch of stuff for Adam Jude a little later at 8:30. And we have tickets for you guys today. It's kind of a lame day, right? Everyone's kind of bummed out after 2 bad losses in the Bronx. That's fine. We have tickets for those of you who could, because there is a bright spot in this year, right? It's Cal Raleigh. No matter what, no matter whether things are up or down, Cal is a bright spot, no matter what. So we're going to give out tickets today to someone who can give us the best Cal Raleigh home run call. We did this a few years ago with Julio. I'll play some of the sound later to remind you, and it was fun. So we'll try it at 9:30. So if you've got a Cal home run call, think about it, and we'll see if we can hear it from you guys at 9:30. All right, coming up next, I mentioned that yesterday we had a really good talk with David Schoenfield. You will hear it and some of the names that he brought up next on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The voice of your Seattle Mariners, Aaron Goldsmith, is here with us. Aaron, are you running out of things to say about Cal Raleigh?
It is a really fun struggle to have to try to frame his season in the proper context and to try to really present, truly at this point, as you know, historical examples for how one-of-a-kind this season is becoming for Cal Raleigh.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You're listening to Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. This hour is brought to you by Fred Meyer Pharmacy, with a special message for Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. Your neighborhood Fred Meyer Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at fredmeyer.com/pay or update. See your Fred Meyer Pharmacy for details.
Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have that new car you've been looking for. With the power of choice, drive the sleek hybrid Camry, leasing as low as $299 a month, the dependable Corolla, or the electric Prius, leasing at just $309 a month. If you're headed to the ballpark or cruising I-5 from the north or the south, visit Toyota of Renton or Kirkland or shop online at toyotaofrenton.com and toyotaofkirkland.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
O'Brien. If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed. which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan. We are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
Lift off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Iddens because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to Immunoheroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kidkind.
Is your car road trip ready? Don't get stranded. Get to Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Bucky's has been preparing cars, trucks, and SUVs for safe, worry-free travel for over 50 years. We take care of your car with experience and good old-fashioned customer service. For all your oil changes, brakes, AC charging, and factory maintenance, choose Bucky's. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com. Bucky's, where your car feels right at home.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
My favorite day, Brock, is creeping up here. We're getting very close to July 31st. And it's nice to see the trade deadline back on the right day again after a few years of kind of moving around. It is back to July 31st again this year, and the Mariners have been in the thick of a lot of these conversations. ESPN's David Schoenfield had a great piece yesterday, and he's kind enough to join us right now on video. If you're watching on YouTube or watching on the stream or the website or wherever. David, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Well, it's good to have you on. Loved what you wrote and spent some time talking about it yesterday. It's funny, I had written the night before something about the idea of trying to go get Ronald Acuna because Joel Sherman put out, this idea out a week or so ago. And my package was similar. Wasn't quite as in-depth as yours. I only had 3 of those guys. But I also had Bryce Miller. I also had Colt Emerson. And I might have also had Harry Ford. You added Laz Montez and Brandon Garcia. So obviously that's 5 for 1. Why do you think it's worth it?
Look, whether the Braves would even consider this, who knows? But, they're stumbling. They're having a bad year. They lack offensive depth. They lack pitching depth. So, as Joel Sherman threw out there, it's a possibility. You never know. But look, we all know what Ronald Acuna Jr. can do, former MVP winner. He came back from the knee surgery, and he's been crushing it. So he looks healthy, looks great. And look, the Mariners have 9 top 100 prospects on MLB's list. So they have as top a heavy and as good a farm system as any team in the majors. So if any team could swing a deal for an Acuna, it would be the Mariners. So we'll throw it out there. We had some fun. I saw your piece, so we're kind of on the same page.
Have you gotten any indication from anybody inside the ropes in baseball that Atlanta would be willing to pair with any of their young core?
No, we don't know. The Braves are with Alex Anthopoulos, their GM. He's notoriously tight-lipped. And it would take a lot of guts for a team to move a franchise icon. We just don't see these kinds of trades. Juan Soto, a couple years ago, that was a little different situation. The Nationals were terrible. They were rebuilding. The Braves, they're bad this year, but they haven't missed the playoffs since 2017. So they don't really want to tear things completely apart, right? And with a second half surge, who knows? They could get back into it. So, again, odds are slim. Again, we're having fun, but you never know. It's baseball. Let's see some NBA style action here, right?
Well, I love that. I think that's the fun part of the deadline.
Yeah.
The only challenge is then people get disappointed when these things don't happen. But
Yes.
whatever, that's part of the fun for me is going through some of the names and what it would take. What is your process when you put together a package of 5 guys for Ronald Acuna or a group for Paul Skeens? How do you try to come up with the right value for those guys?
Yeah, it's impossible because there's not a lot of history. Soto is the best comparison, but he only had, 2+ years of team control. Plus, he was making a lot more money than Acuna because he was going through the arbitration process. So his salaries were going to start ramping up to $25 million, $30 million. Acuna, he signed through 2028 at only $17 million per year. So his value is not only on the field, but that his salary, for as good as he is relatively low. So there's not a lot of history there. But you look at what Soto, the Nationals got 5 players. James Wood was the top prospect in that deal, and he's proven to be that one of the best players in baseball this year. The other 2 main guys were Mackenzie Gore and C.J. Abrams. They'd already reached the majors. They had been top prospects, had reached the majors, weren't really quite performing, but had a good pedigree. So you're getting 3 top-of-the-line players for Soto for 2+ years. So to me, Acuna is going to have to bring back more than that. So that's why you throw in a Colt Emerson. The Braves need a shortstop. You get a proven major leaguer in Bryce Miller, and then 2 other top prospects in Harry Ford and Montez. So that's how I kind of went about coming up with that.
In 23 days on August 1st, how many new Mariners will be on their 26-man roster?
Yeah, that's a great question. The easiest thing, they'll add a reliever, that no doubt about that. Maybe a reliever, maybe 2. Will they get a bat? Realistically, not a lot of hitters out there. The teams who we know are going to trade, right? The Pirates, the A's, these teams don't, the Nationals, they don't have a lot of players to trade. So to your point about being disappointed, there's a good chance that, not only Mariners fans, but fans across the sport end up being disappointed because right now there's 21, 22 teams realistically in the playoff race. So there's a chance this deadline does end up a dud, but I'll say 3 new players. We'll say a couple relievers and some kind of hitter.
And they'd have to. I mean, you have to at least a Ryan O'Hearn. There's got to be someone out there that the Mariners could add. Arizona's been probably the conversation we've had the most, and they're still in it. So as of now, Mike Hazen says he's not selling. But as you're trying to figure out those, prospect hauls and who's worth what. How about Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez, 2 guys who only have 2 months left on their contracts?
Yeah, Arizona's the team that'll kind of make or break this deadline because they have so many players heading into free agency. You mentioned those 2. They got a couple pitchers and Zach Allen and Merrill Kelly. But yeah, boy, Suarez would look great, right? That's for sure. The trouble is, the Yankees need a third baseman. They're just moving Jazz Chisholm back to second base. There's a couple other teams that could use a third baseman. So Suarez, if Arizona does look to trade him, he's going to be a very hot commodity with, he's on the All-Star team this year, having a great year. But, boy, I'd like to see him hitting cleanup behind Cal Raleigh, wouldn't you guys?
Yes. I'd like to see them trade for both those guys. Like, to me, I would rather give up more and say, screw it, let's go for it. Put Josh Naylor at first, put Suarez at third, and now you got a legitimate kind of lineup that with this pitching staff could absolutely go challenge for a World Series in this American League. So why not go big? Go with both of those 2 guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. It makes sense because look, it's going to be a lot cheaper to acquire those 2 than a far-fetched idea to get Acuna. So you're not going to, get rid of your entire farm system in a blockbuster trade. You're going to give up a couple good pieces, but you're going to retain a lot of the depth. So I'm with you. That trading for both those guys makes perfect sense. And I'll throw this out there. As good as the Tigers have been this year, they're solid. They're very deep, but they're beatable. At least when Derek Struble doesn't pitch, they're beatable. So if there's ever a year to go all in, it's this year. There's not a powerhouse team in baseball. The Dodgers have their issues. Tigers don't have a number 2 starter in my book. Yankees are vulnerable. So, yeah, this year is the year to go all in.
How much have these second and third wild cards kind of devalued your farm system? Right? If this were 10, 15, 25 years ago where, there wasn't the bounty of wild cards and teams all in it.
Yep.
Were farm systems more valuable, these prospects more valuable in some ways than they are today?
It's a good question. I think in a way, yes, because the top salaries now just keep climbing and climbing. So the value of having good young players who aren't making relatively any money are so enormously valuable that front offices are reluctant to trade those guys. You don't want to do what the Mets did a few years ago when they traded Pete Crow Armstrong for 2 months of Javi Baez and they missed the playoffs. You make a trade like that, the prospect you give up turns into a star. It just crushes your organization. So that's why GMs, they're so conservative in baseball. I look at the NBA, like I mentioned, you see all this wheeling and dealing, and we wish we had that in baseball, but GMs just don't want to screw up, so that leads them to tend to want to keep all those prospects.
David Schoenfield, ESPN, joining us. And wearing a Shakey's Pizza T-shirt, I should mention.
Of course.
Yes, because you started your career up here, right? Seattle Times?
Yeah, I'm from Seattle, so I think the last Shakey's closed, right, last year. So sad to say that was my childhood pizza joint in
right
Renton,
next to
Washington.
Blockbuster, right? Right next to Blockbusters usually.
You bet,
The two were typically
It
paired
wasn't
together.
the greatest pizza, to be honest.
That's probably why they had to close. All the Blockbusters went out, and they didn't know what to do. There was no steady stream of video rentals, people coming in looking for pizza at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about a few other names on this show over the last few days. The Braves again with Matt Olson, and then the possibility of the Red Sox with Alex Bregman. You see any chance that either of those 2 guys get dealt?
Yeah, I think Bregman is a possibility. All the Red Sox, they've won 5 out of 6 or something to kind of get back in the race. Bregman came out and said he would be willing to, discuss an extension. He has an opt-out after this year. It's hard to know what the Red Sox are thinking. They have Marcelo Meyer, who's a top prospect. He's a shortstop, but they have Trevor Story, so he's a solution at third. Long term, if they do want to trade Bregman. You don't usually see extensions in season, so I would say there's probably 20-25% odds that they end up trading Bregman.
Well, and it's a crazy thing because I love Bregman. I think he's a great player, and I think that attitude and the way he plays, I think that he has value even beyond his value on the field. And the sense from Mariner fans is such the opposite. There's so much pent up frustration and resentment from his time in Houston and the scandal. Do you sense that anywhere else, or is that just a Seattle thing?
Houston, no, they're hated everywhere. You go to, the Yankees, a fan, of course, they lost to Houston several times in the playoffs. They hate the Astros, but I'm with you. Bregman, it's a cliche, but this guy's a winning player. He loves to play baseball. He has power, good defense, draws some walks. The age is a little concern, but he was crushing it with the Red Sox. His swing is tailor-made for Fenway, dead pull hitter. So I don't know if the numbers would translate to Seattle, but he's a winning player. Any team in baseball would love to have that guy.
Are you done on the trade thing, Salk? Can we turn our attention to a couple other things? When you were eating your thin, shaky crust pizza, watching Ken Griffey Jr. back in the day do what he used to do in that Kingdome, is Cal Raleigh finally giving you those same kind of vibes here in Seattle?
Man, I was watching the game last night, and for some reason I kept it on here at midnight in the 8th inning to see him hit another one. And yeah, as a baseball, I grew up a Mariners fan, so I still, root for them. But just as a baseball fan, this is so exciting. We've seen it from Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani the last couple of years, and we expect it from those two guys. But Cal Raleigh, this is one of the most phenomenal seasons in MLB history. It's incredible what he's doing as a catcher. He's going to hit 50 plus, 60. I know he's on pace for 60. That just seems unfathomable, but it's just so fun to watch. We saw it with Griffey all those years, and we've seen Edgar Martinez at his best. When a hitter gets locked in like this, it's just so much fun to watch.
So how is it happening? I mean, we look through the guys that have gotten to this level. We know how Bonds and McGuire and Sosa all of a sudden started hitting a lot more home runs. Junior was always expected to hit those kinds of home runs as a phenom and the number one pick in the draft, et cetera. This is almost maybe a little more like Salvi Perez, who started to do it a little bit later in his career. How does it click all of a sudden at 27, 28, and you start being on pace for 60-plus home runs?
Yeah, I looked into all his metrics a couple weeks ago, and you guys might know more about what he has, said publicly. I didn't find a whole lot of, changes in his swing or his approach. Nothing, he's hitting better from the right side, right? Well, that was always his weak side. He's crushing lefties this year. So maybe he made some tweaks from that side. I don't know. But the only thing I really noticed was when pitchers are making a mistake, middle of the zone, he is not missing it. I mean, anything in the middle of the plate is over the fence. His slugging percentage on those pitches was incredible. I'm like twice as high as last year. So he's just not missing anything. He just locked in.
It's funny. One of the guys that he mentions a lot is Justin Turner, who was here for just a couple months at the end of last year. And I've heard Cal mention him now a couple of times as a big influence on him and helped him kind of see the game differently. I am always struck, as much as I love the projection stuff and like what Dan Szymborski did, I think that stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
But there's no way to account for this guy met Justin Turner, got to work with him every day, and he taught him something that all of a sudden makes it click. Or he's a switch-hitting catcher who's had a million other things to do in his career, and he finally had time to focus on his right-handed swing.
Or a little mass in your barrel and a torpedo bat.
Well, that's the other one, too, the torpedo bat, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and, catchers, you have to research this to know if it's true, but catchers tend to develop sometimes a little later as hitter. But yeah, the Justin Turner thing is interesting because he meant so much to the Dodgers for all those years. And he, 10, 11 years ago, he was kind of one of the first hitters who's like, I got to focus on my launch angle. He was a singles hitting infielder, and he became one of the better hitters in the game by focusing on his launch angle, swinging hard every time. Now, Turner's a good contact hitter, but swing hard with 2 strikes. Don't worry about just, quote unquote, putting the ball in play. A lot of fans don't like that style, but it's working for Cal Raleigh. And yeah, I'm not surprised to hear Turner was a big influence there.
If you were to survey 100 Mariners fans before this season, Salk, and if you were to survey 100 National Baseball fans before this season and say a Seattle Mariner is going to hit 36 home runs and surpass Ken Griffey Jr. before the All-Star break, I think 100 out of 100 locally and nationally would have said, wow, Julio Rodriguez has taken that step. Julio's taken that step. Now, he gets to his 3rd All-Star game, which is a huge accomplishment for what he's done defensively. But just curious what your eyes have seen of one Julio Rodriguez from afar.
Oh, man. How much time do we got here?
You have got, before a hard out, you got 6 minutes
6
and
minutes.
32 seconds.
Yeah.
I know it's frustrating, and I watch him and look at the numbers, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, because you look, I love baseball history. I study the history. And when a player who's as good as he was at 21 and 22, you kind of just assume, hey, he's going to get better. Like Griffey. Griffey really didn't start tapping into his power until age 23, 24. So we kind of expected at the minimum he's going to hit 30 every year, and it hasn't happened. So what's going on? We all know the pitch recognition, it's not great. The chase rate hasn't improved. He's still swinging at too many balls out of the zone. That's easy to see visually. He knows what's going on. The hitting coaches know.
No.
Hitting coaches know what's going on,
Yeah.
Salk.
You
and I know what's going on.
We just erased David Schoenfield right in the middle
And I
of
had
that
nothing
answer.
to do with it, okay, Goldie? I had nothing to do with this again.
Seems like he asked how long we had. Who knew that his connection only had 45 seconds left in it when he asked? There you go. That was a shorter than expected interview with David Schoenfield yesterday, who was really good and unfortunately just kind of lost his connection there at the end. Hey, I just have a couple of minutes here before Brock gets in at 7, and I got a take at 7 o'clock that I think most of you will like, and I think will register with a lot of you guys. So we'll do that here in about 10 minutes. We got a lot of other stuff today, but you guys know what the date is today? Off the top of your head, do you know what the date is today?
Oh, it's 710 Day.
It's 710 Day, Maura. That's exactly right. It is July 10th. And for years, we've celebrated 710 Day here on 710. It used to be a whole thing where we'd go out and we'd be at a golf course. I think we were at Druid's Glen for many of those years. And, we'd have a little thing where you could come down and play golf for $7.10. I wish we still did that. That would be fun. If any of the golf courses out there want to bring us back next year for 710 Day with $7.10 golf, let's make that happen. Maybe I can call some of my buddies at a few of the courses I like, at the home course or Chambers or somewhere like that. I don't know if Chambers is giving away $7.10, but you get the idea. Maybe $710. No. It's just always been a fun thing to celebrate the station every year on July 10th. And I'll, for the millionth time, just tell the story because, we do have a lot of new listeners like Lyle, who just, is just now old enough to hear the station. Stephanie, who's with us here again today, training on the board. Probably, do you know the story, Stephanie, of how 710 came to be? It's quite the story. You've got to go back to 2008, okay? You have to think about Seattle in 2008. In 2008, the Mariners became the first team in history to spend $100 million and lose 100 games. The Seahawks went, I think it's 5-11 or 4-12, something like that. I think it's 5-11, and Mike Holmgren was done. They weren't good. The Huskies went 0-12. The Cougs only beat the Huskies. The Sonics left, and the economy crashed. And we said, let's start a sports station. And so we did. I had nothing to do with that decision. I was hired, I don't know, however long later, right before we launched the station. And Brock and I had the 11 to 3 show before Kevin Calabro and Friends, which came on after us from 3 to 7. And it really wasn't going to work. The first year was bad. I mean, we had Mike and Mike and Colin Cowherd, and it wasn't working. I mean, the ratings were awful. The sales were bad. There was a decent chance that a year in, unsurprisingly, given that sports and economic environment, that this station was going to fold. And thanks to a few people who really stood up for it, they said, hey, give it another year, and actually put their jobs on the line for it, because the story I've heard is that there was a corporate person who came in and said, all right, I'll give you a year, but it's your job. And a year later, things had turned around enough. Brock and I eventually figured out how to work together and how to create a show together that wasn't awful. And even 6 or 7 of you, maybe 9 or 10, still listen to it, which is great. And we appreciate that. So shout out to Calabro and Pittman and Chris Cashman and Colin Paisley and Jessamine and everybody else who was there on that first day. It really was a cool moment and felt like we were doing something special. And we felt like the underdogs, and, hopefully we've managed to keep some of that mentality over the 16 years plus since then, because it was a cool day. I remember being in that old studio. It's gone now. I mean, we've redone everything as things have gotten better, and we've become this digital entity now, right, with our website and our app and YouTube and all the things that weren't really a part of it then. But it was a pretty cool day, all of us being in that room together, starting that station.
When I first got here, that studio was still there, and it looked ancient.
Yeah, it was. We were all in one room, though. It was awesome. I mean, honestly, Brock and Colin and I, and then Howdy and Tom, like, we were all there together in this, like, little room. Howdy and Kyle were, like, 2 of the first interns here, which is so crazy. I mean, like, that was back when we still had interns. They were here, like, right off the jump. So anyway, happy 710 day to all of you. We appreciate you guys for listening, seriously. And with that in mind, we'll have some tickets to give away later for a great Cal call. If you've got one, we'll do that at 9:30. Brock's in next. And I got a take I think you'll like on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The voice of your Seattle Mariners, Aaron Goldsmith, is here with us. Aaron, are you running out of things to say about Cal Raleigh?
It is a really fun struggle to have, to try to frame his season in the proper context and to try to really present, truly at this point, as you know, historical examples for how one-of-a-kind this season is becoming for Cal Raleigh.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
And now, tales of another way. You're packing for a trip. Stuffing clothes in a suitcase works mostly. But such chaos in your carry-on. Then you try packing cubes. Organization? Meet harmony. Sometimes another way is the better way. Like the new SR 509 Expressway, the alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads, plus provide better access to the ports. It's open now. Try it free through summer. Learn more at goodtogo509.com.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Planning a road trip? Plan a visit to your neighborhood Bucky's Complete Auto Repair for oil changes, brakes, AC repair, and factory maintenance. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit buckys.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike
Heward. Not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Good morning, Brock. Happy 7-10 day to you. It is indeed July 10th. Happy 7-10 day. I just told the whole story a few minutes ago of the launch and, you know, how we were all there today. 206 says you forgot Dave Grosby. Of course, I did not forget Dave Grosby. He did not come in for another year or so. So, no, I didn't forget the Gros. I would never. There were only 2 local shows at the beginning. No Bob, no Gros. None of those guys were here yet. It was just Brock and Salk and the Kevin Calabro show.
Uh-huh. And I believe it was on a 7-10 day out there at beautiful Druids Glen, where the great Marvin Demoff gave a 22-minute answer, and Salk ducked under the table. He kicked me and said, "You fix this.
Fix this.
And you fix this now." And I believe, right? I think we were sitting there on like the 18th green of Druids Glen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've had some beauties on 7-10 day.
We have. We'll see where today goes. Not a beauty for the Mariners last night, and I don't want to dig too deeply into that game in particular, but it did lead me to a thought last night, Brock, and I think this will be a popular one, though maybe for different reasons.
Okay.
Because every day, and Lyle and Maura would definitely attest to this, we get texts, and I certainly see tweets from folks who want Julio dropped in the lineup.
Yes.
Julio's killing us. He shouldn't be hitting second. Julio's killing us. And I don't generally feel that strongly about those things. If you think it would help him get going and see some different pitches, take some pressure off him, great. I'd be into that. If you're trying to punish Julio, I think that's dumb. Like, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But, like, I'm open to the idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. Regardless of the numbers, I do think he's a threat, and I think opposing pitchers treat him that way. And certainly if you look at him on the road, the numbers are still okay. It's the home numbers that have really deteriorated, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But the more I watch them and just kind of see this lineup function, the more I actually think they do need to move him out of the 2 spot, but it's not so much because of him as it is because of Cal. I think you got to start hitting Cal second, and I think you got to start hitting Cal after JP. Take your best on-base percentage guy, that's JP Crawford, and put him ahead of Cal Raleigh, because the number of times Cal is coming up with nobody on or leading off, and it just that can't happen. You need to get runners on base for Cal Raleigh as often as possible. And I appreciate that Julio was on the other day for a home run. That was great. But your 2 best on-base percentage guys on the team are JP and Randy. I'd like to see those guys ahead of Cal. And so if that means switching Randy and Julio, so you go JP, Randy, Cal, okay. Like, Randy gets on base a lot. I'm totally fine if you like Cal in the 3 spot, making that switch. Maybe that's a little change for Julio. I mean, if your fear is Julio is not going to be able to run as much with Cal in front of him, well, JP's not fast either. He doesn't run. So it's not like that's working out as 2 guys blazing around the bases together. Why not do that? Sometimes Randy would be up in front of him or on in front of him, and you could play some running with those guys. Like, I would like to see that, mostly because I just want more men on base for Cal and to put more pressure on the pitcher before Cal comes up.
Yeah, our football coach likes to say here at Valor, it's about data. When we scrimmage, it's about data. When we go team, it's about data. When we're going to eventually play games, all it is data, and then how you respond to that data. Baseball is the most data-driven sport in America. Julio Rodriguez has an on-base percentage of .305.
Right.
And he's doing no damage. He's hit 1 home run since May 27th. So why is he hitting second every single night in this lineup?
Yeah,
just from a data standpoint, it just does not make sense. We're just waiting for him to get hot. Well, we're just waiting. It's 100 games in. He's not. This is not about punishing. Like, you earn the right. Right, you earn the right to hit here. You earn the right to hit in front of Cal.
Which is what JP
earn the right
did.
To hit behind Cal.
That's
yes.
what JP did. He started 100%. Off the year at the bottom of the lineup. He earned it. He comes up to the top, and he keeps it for a while. And if at some point he loses it, then he loses it. I mean, like, yeah, I would agree with you on that. You do want to be patient. You don't want to overreact. You don't want to immediately start moving guys around and changing your lineup every day and saying, well, you're a 2-hitter. No, you're 7. Like, no, you gotta have your faith in your guys. But Brock, yeah, you're right. I mean, we're 6 games away from the All-Star break here, and that .305 on base percentage, I can live with the. I mean, it's not that I don't like. It's not that I like the lack of power. I don't. Julio needs to hit for power, but in front of Cal, specifically, you got to have on base.
Get on base.
And right now,
and I would also challenge something you said earlier too. It's 4 games before the All-Star break now.
Excuse me, you're right. 4.
Yeah, that's okay. I woke up this morning. I said I'm not going to pick on Salk today. I was a lot of instigating. I've been this week. I'm not going to do it this week. I'm just not. I mean, poor guy came back after a long vacation, sleeping in every day,
yeah.
and I've just been. Little brother's been a little mean to you, so I'm going to let smart firstborn do your thing, and I'm not going to pick on you today. But I would challenge something you said, and maybe this is me projecting. Maybe it really is. Maybe it's me taking too much stock and listening to what some of these pitching coaches and teams have said about Julio after the fact. But I don't look at any pitcher right now facing Julio that has a fear factor. I don't see any of them going, oof. Yep, I think they, frankly, enjoy pitching to him because you make your pitches, he's not doing anything with them, right? He is chasing. As our buddy Schoenfield said yesterday before he cut off, like, his pitch recognition continues to be a struggle. He's not doing damage. He's not getting on base.
Yeah, here's what I meant by that.
I don't feel the opponent like, oof. When Cal comes up, it's a threat. When JP comes up, it's a threat.
Yeah,
Randy
that's
right
not
now
what I
for
meant.
the last month, it's a threat.
Not really
Julio's
what I meant.
Not a threat right now. Okay.
Not what I meant. I think, because you're right. I understand that part of it. I guess what I'm saying is they still treat Julio like a good hitter. They don't treat him like a guy's at the bottom of the order. They still throw him breaking balls. They still throw outside. Like they do what they need to do to try to get ahead of him and play the game plan for him. When you watch Ben Williamson hit, they're throwing him fastballs.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and it goes back to that comment that I've relayed to you many times from what's the guy's name? The old shortstop who was at the bottom of the order for the Angels that day. And I was like, John McDonald, like, hey, what's it like facing Felix? He's like, I don't know. I don't see Felix. Like, I face Felix. He throws me 4 fastballs, and I sit down again. Like, the guys at the top of the order, they face Felix, where he comes at you with his full arsenal and everything else. Some of that has changed in baseball over the years as pitchers try to get everybody out. But they still approach Julio like a quality hitter. Whether there's a fear factor or not, they know if you just throw him fastballs, he's going to crush one of them eventually. So I don't know, man. I would still think that there's some level of threat to having Julio in a lineup, even when he's gone a month or so without doing much.
Well, Dan has been really patient. There has been a lot of grace. That is a kind of a foundational element. He's an all-star. I don't know if this is going to change over these 4 games. Probably not going into the all-star break, right? That's kind of been the MO over the first 90-some games here. But yeah, this just can't sustain against these quality teams. And this was a quality road trip, and we knew it. And you're going to face in the Yankees lineup bashes, especially in their stadium. And Detroit's the best team in baseball, so you're going to have to play better. And it means your stars at the top of this lineup have got to do a little more.
Yeah, I would
Julio in particular.
Well, certainly, and then actually, seeing an error or a misplay in center field last night, like that's been the thing that's really kind of been his calling card this year, and so that hurt a little bit too. I still maintain that I think Julio will snap out of this eventually. I know that there's not a lot of evidence for that right now, 3+ months into the season, and we haven't seen it yet. So, that's really banking on hope more than it is on anything that I'm seeing with my eyes.
And history. I mean, July and August have been pretty good to him in his career.
Well, we're 10 days into July, and it does not look that way right now. Hopefully something clicks at the All-Star break or before, because you still have, as you said, Brock, 4 more games here against very good opponents, and unfortunately your last 2 days just have gotten away from you pretty quickly. So look, I'm not looking to punish Julio. I'm not mad at him. I think he works hard and all those things, so get out there and eventually I think it'll change. But in the meantime, you just need guys on base in front of Cal. He's just having too good a season to let those up. And it's not even just like the home runs or solo shots instead of 2 or 3 run home runs, although that's part of it. It's giving the other team an opportunity to actually pitch to Cal. Right? I mean, like, force their hand.
It's pressurizing.
Yeah, put them in that spot where, hey, I have to throw strikes to Randy Arozarena because he'll take a walk, and after it, I've got Cal coming up. And then Randy can do even more damage. I know they've tried that with Julio this year. Obviously, it just hasn't worked the way they wanted to. If it's me, I'm probably making a change at this point and trying to see if I can get a little bit more on base in front of Cal. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back, give you guys everything you need to know. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
This summer, the Mariners take over Atlanta with the All-Star Fantastic Four.
Holy smokes!
Andres.
99 crackles over the corner.
Ryan
Wu has retired 13 Yankees in a row.
Julio
Rodriguez dives and he makes the catch.
and Cal.
Number 34 for the Big Dumpers.
Congratulations to the Mariners All-Star 4 from the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Crank up the hits and bring on the boom. It's 80s fireworks night at T-Mobile Park. Get ready for a totally tubular show on Friday, July 18th. Presented by T-Mobile. The Mariners face off against the division rival Astros at 7:10. And after the game, the sky will light up to the sound of your favorite 80s jams. Big hits on the field and more big hits after dark.
Grand slam! Julio takes it deep and clears it off.
Mariners baseball, fireworks, and hair metal? Sounds like a rad night. Lock in your seats now at Mariners.com and check out what else is on deck at the ballpark this summer, including 3 straight value games against the Brewers, July 21st through 23rd, and the next Mariners fireworks show on August 1st.
Goodbye, baseball. He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ed, who suffered a neck injury in a highway pileup.
Had a bulge disc in my neck. It was pinching my spinal cord, so reached out to Rob. It was amazing. Their whole team were honest and kept me informed, like they were actually interested in helping me, not just a number. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I would definitely choose these guys again any time of the week.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us.
We get notifications every time we get a review. And I said, how do you not let it eat you up? Sometimes I feel so responsible. And his answer was, I just look at it as an opportunity. We need that feedback to learn and to do better. I'm grateful for the feedback.
Big part of sales is the relationship aspect. People want to do business with someone they can trust, who's a real person. They don't feel like you're just going after their money. And when you take the time to get to know them, get to know their needs, not be a car salesman, but be a consultant, then they feel more comfortable with you, and just the experience is better on both sides.
It's not about closing deals. It's about opening relationships, helping people make the right choice. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, ugly one last night. Very difficult to win when you give up as many runs as the Mariners have the last 2. 10 in the opener, 9 more last night. Really tough to overcome too many of these.
Here's the pitch.
Swinging a well-hit ball deep to right field down the line, and this one is a fair ball. Goodbye, baseball. Jazz Chisholm with his second home run of the night. This one a 2-run home run, and it's now the Yankees 6 and the Mariners 2.
Yeah, that's a lot of home runs. 2 more of them last night, both for Jazz Chisholm, but that was just a couple of the 9 hits and 6 runs that Logan Evans gave up. Couldn't make it out of the 5th inning. Carlos Vargas, not much better, poured a little gas on that fire, and you end up with a very difficult night in Yankee Stadium. Here's what Dan thought about Logan's night.
Some balls found some holes, some singles there, but, I think... for him being able, to get out there, it's his first time in the Yankee Stadium and a different kind of environment for him. But, gave up some hits, but I thought he settled back into it and it did a good job of kind of regrouping after that and got us into the 5th.
I got to tell you, I didn't really see it that way. I didn't think he just gave up some singles. I mean,
no, I thought he was pretty tentative. Didn't love he's got kind of a quirky body language. Each of these pitchers, they're a little bit like quarterbacks. You got to be authentic. You got to be who you are. You can't, present yourself in a way that's not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a little, he's just got a funny little way about. You could tell he's young, right? He's first time through with so much of this stuff, and he's trying to kind of find his way. But I didn't. I thought tentative last night.
Funny, I didn't see tentative. I mean,
really?
Tentative to me would be he's giving up a lot of walks.
He's falling behind everybody. He's nibbling. He's not attacking. And you nibble against those guys, and then you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay.
Yeah, I think the problem was he didn't have the out pitch to get them out. I mean, they're hitting the ball hard. That to me isn't because of nibbling. That's because they're just destroying the ball in the middle of the plate. Regardless, it didn't go well for them as he gives up those runs. Now, the offense did do some things. You end up hitting 4 home runs on the day. Polanco hit an absolute cannon shot. Cole Young had his first career home run. Another one for Randy Arozarena, who stays hot. J.P. Crawford.
That'd be the first game they lost this year when they hit 4 home runs.
I would imagine. I don't
Usually
have those
they hit
notes
a
in front
home
of
run
me.
and they win, or they hit 2 home runs, they win.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit 4 yourself, but unfortunately, getting out of the friendly confines and the pitching confines of T-Mobile out in some of these parks against these kind of lineups and these kind of teams, it's been humbling the last couple
Logan
weeks.
was asked about the nerves, Brock, if that was an issue.
I wouldn't say so. Not from any other start I had. I felt like I was pretty in control of my breathing. I don't think it was anything crazy. I don't think I ever focused on it being the Yankees or Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it's in control of his breathing, Brock, so it's fine. Series finale tonight. Brian Wu going to need to play stopper to avoid the sweep against Marcus Stroman, who's been not good in his 5 starts this year. He's given up 16 runs in those 19 innings. Astros lose. They get swept by Cleveland. How about that? So the deficit remains at 6.5 in the West. Red Sox win, though. They're actually now tied with the Mariners for the 3rd wild card.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
3 weeks exactly, Brock, before the trade deadline, and we'll get into a lot more depth here in about 10 minutes as we're waiting for those sellers to emerge. Ryan O'Hearn, Baltimore, that one seems like it will happen. He's a fit. I don't know whether he presents as much upside as some of the other options. It's the Diamondbacks I keep watching. 5 games out now, 4.5 they won last night in the wild card. So maybe they're getting closer to selling?
I really want Josh Naylor.
Yeah, as you should.
If you were like push comes to shove, obviously we have our dream scenarios. We got a whole bunch of stations, sound. Schoenfield went in some depth yesterday. That felt more like, after talking to him, that felt like more of a columnist than any kind of journalist. Like, that I'm just trying to, out of thin air, pull together some things that could make sense on paper. But yeah, Josh Naylor, to me, in this lineup would be the most ideal fit. He's a hard at bat. He's a threat. He's played in big moments. He's a solid first baseman. Like, that's actually the guy I think that would be target number 1.
Well, and I'm be right there with you. Jeff Passan wrote the same thing last night, and I was going to save this, but I might as well play it now. This was Jim Bowden yesterday on just how good Naylor is and what happened to Cleveland without him.
And I think the offense is middle of the road. I think if you go out and get one more bat, all the core you just talked about, they all get better. Every single one of them get better when you get one more guy. We covered the Guardians last year playing the Yankees in the League Championship Series, and part of the reason we covered them is Josh Naylor was hitting 30 and driving in 100, right? And as soon as the Guardians moved on from him, where are they now? They're not even in the picture. We're not even talking about them, and they're near the bottom in every offensive category. And so that's what you need, and you put them in there. Everyone around them gets better. This team, I'm telling you, is one big hitter away from having the potential of a lot of champagne popping in Seattle, in the Northwest in October. But you got to do it. We can't talk about it anymore.
Can't really disagree with any of that. And I still think the cool thing about going out to get Naylor is you got to find a way to get Gino at the same time, bring them both in, and have a completely different look to your offense, which would really help you on nights like last night, where you need to score a lot of runs in a hot, warm, humid environment in a bandbox. And we'll see what happens here over the course of the next few weeks.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
We're on to safeties today. How many Seahawks cracked the safety list?
Others receiving votes? Julian Love?
How about number 10?
Hurts is going to throw again, has all day. Going to throw deep. Got a man deep. Love intercepts. Love is right there, stride for stride with the receiver, and he intercepts in the end zone.
How about number 10? Hey. Julian Love. Range, dart, combo of physicality and ball production has developed into a high-end player, said an NFC executive. Remarkable for a guy that was primarily a corner in college.
Yep.
You like that?
I do like that. I think that's all very fits very well. And just an IQ and a football acumen off the charts, and doesn't blow you away. I wouldn't say like there's any one trait. Physically, he's not a thumper. Speed-wise, he's not an Earl. Like there's not a overwhelming trait.
Smart.
But his football IQ is real high.
Just a smart guy. The guys ahead of him: Kyle Hamilton, Brian Branch, Xavier McKinney, Jesse Bates, Kirby Joseph, Derwin James, Antoine Winfield, Budda Baker, Minka Fitzpatrick. It's a pretty good list.
Pretty good list.
Hard to argue. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Cool for Julian. Good for him. And
That's
a second Seahawk.
Yeah, and this is what you need. And this is what, when you want to look at better defenses, you usually have top 10 players on the D-line. You usually have a top 10 player at safety. You usually have a top 10 player at corner. You're going to have that, I would think, next week in Devin Witherspoon. So probably not a top 10 linebacker. That's not going to happen with Knight just after year one. And I don't think Ernest gets that kind of recognition around the league. But stack good players, you become a pretty quality defense. And now we're just hoping they could become an elite defense.
A few years ago, the Mariners made a really big decision, and they made it for the next 3 weeks. That's next on Brock and Salk.
Jordan Schusterman every Wednesday morning at 11 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports.
How do you foresee this rotation shaping out before the All-Star break?
I certainly don't think that's the last we will see of Emerson Hancock this season. I will be interested to see if Logan Evans can make a push to replace him at some point, how they kind of go back and forth between both of those guys. I think from a workload standpoint, I have to imagine they want to be a little bit more careful with Evans.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and just like we're getting close to the trade deadline, a week after that, August 8th, the big grand opening, an unforgettable summer experience as the hotel opens at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Bookings are now open. Go to snocasino.com to do that. Breathtaking views of the Cascades and Snoqualmie Valley, the big new expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the spa, the entertainment space and convention center, the new restaurants, the whole deal. Go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Rick Riz here, and it's the final month to submit your nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Pella's owners are donating $5,000 to 2 local youth sports organizations. Many local teams are in need of new equipment, field improvements, or uniforms. If you know a team who could use funding, nominate them at seattlesports.com/play. Join Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington and help our local youth thrive. Go to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a team in need right now.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we don't just promise to get the job done, we back it up. No travel charge, no show-up fee, no overinflated pricing, and no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional each and every day. O'Neill Plumbing.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're here 24/7. 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
December 3rd, 2018, a big day in Mariner history, and one that was made because of, as I see it, the next 3 weeks. If you go back and try to remember what took place on that day, that was the day the Mariners traded Robinson Cano. Why did they do that? They were taking a step back. They looked at the team they had and said they were good. They weren't great. They were good, but they didn't really have the assets inside the organization in the minor league system to become great. They couldn't support what they had. I saw somebody else saying this the other day about the Nationals, that even though they've got some of those young pieces, right, that they brought over back in the Juan Soto deal, and they're good. I mean, James Wood's awesome. They're not supporting them. They don't have enough in their system still to support those guys and try to get better right now. So why do you make deals like they did? Why do they step back at that time and give up on Cano and Diaz and Felix and Nelly and the rest of that group? Why? Well, because you didn't believe you had enough in your system to supplement that. As you sit today, you do. Your team that you've got now is about as good as that team was in 2018, right? Roughly?
I think that's fair. I'm about 500 team. You know, are you a 90-win team? Are you an 80-win team? But you're just kind of in that strata that we talk about all the time.
You're in the same
right?
rough area that team was, right? Yep. I mean, you're a little better pitching. Maybe you're not quite as good at hitting. Bullpen, I don't know, might be quite frankly even. But you're roughly similar to where you were then. The American League is down a little bit from then. But on that team, you had nothing to trade. Right? Remember the deals they could make at the deadline for Austin Jackson and those two relievers, Zach Duke, whatever the guy's name was, who made them worse, Adam Warren. Like, those guys were awful because you didn't have anything to give up.
It was those two, Adam Warren, Zach Duke, and then Cameron Maybin.
Yeah, and the year before, 2 years before, was Austin Jackson. Like, they just didn't have enough to give up to get better at the deadline. That's different now. Right? I mean, what did you do last year at the deadline? You brought in Randy Arozarena, Justin Turner, and Jimmy Garcia. That's a good deadline. What did you do a couple of years before that at the deadline? Well, you had the horses to go trade for Luis Castillo and make the best move anybody did at the deadline that year. You can do that again this season because of what you did a few years ago and how you've been patient. But at some point, you've got to look around and say, okay, we did it all then. We've gone through it. That was now 7 years ago almost. Okay, well, your system is stocked. The team has the starting pitching. You've put together some inconsistent offense, but at times it's actually been good. Well, now you got to go out there, and as Jim Bowden said yesterday, put the pedal to the metal.
It's pedal to the metal with this team. This is the window. Don't wait. Don't wait. You never know what pitcher's going to get hurt next year. Already dealt with a couple of your starting pitchers going through injuries to start the year. I mean, and it's going to keep happening. That's part of baseball. We see all the pitchers break down. It's what happens in 2025 and beyond. So take advantage of the window you have. Go get another bat. Pedal to the metal. No excuses.
What would qualify as pedal to the metal for you, Brock?
Pedal to the metal. Pedal to the metal would be a high leverage reliever, which I think is the easiest in a market to always get. Mm-hmm. And then it would be pedal to the metal, be two more bats.
Okay, so let's start with the leverage reliever. We'll knock that out quickly because it's actually pretty easy. Almost all of the teams that are real sellers have leverage relievers to trade. Right, whether it's a couple of guys. I mean, there might be 3 leverage relievers in Minnesota, Griffin Jacks and Duran, and I'm blanking on the other guy's name, but they have at least 2, if not 3, leverage relievers, and they should be sellers. Cleveland has Seawald and Clase. Like, they could give up some leverage relievers if they want to sell, and they probably will. Oakland with Mason Miller, the Nationals, Baltimore. Pittsburgh, but like all of those teams have, if nothing else, a leverage reliever or 3 that they could sell. So if you want a leverage reliever, it's out there for you. You just have to choose which one, find the right fit, and bring them in. That's easy. Then you get to your problem.
And by the way, that's a priority because let's remember Spires had a tremendous bounce back year. right? But ran on some fumes before injury last year. Brash is coming off of Tommy John surgery. He's had a both those men have had phenomenal first halves. But we know how this works. We know what the dog days of August and September can do to bullpens. We felt that specifically last year. So 100%. In both of those cases, right, and Mooney, again, as an all-star, has been phenomenal. But though, like one, if not two, would be, to me, like, for sure one is an absolute priority as much as a bat is. And would I hate too? Would I like to see a little less of Vargas and Thornton and Legumina and these guys in August? Yeah, I think I would. So I think that is a tremendous priority, and that absolutely can and should happen.
Well,
you have more than enough resources.
There's no reason
to
why it wouldn't happen, right? I mean, I think that's ultimately
Correct.
The thing is you're in really good position to do that. All right, fine. So you got to use some of your resources to go get bullpen help, but then you get to the bat, and that is obviously the biggest question. And I'm with you, Brock. I would rather see both two bats rather than one. There are a lot of ways you can maneuver in order to make it happen, but you've got two rookies in Cole Young and Ben Williamson that are taking a lot of at-bats and a first base situation that is suboptimal at best. So those are...
And a can zone that we know is very, very streaky and up and down as well.
So you got four spots,
yes.
Right? I mean, like, you've got four available spots, plus the DH thing if you want to move Polanco to set. Like, there are a lot of ways that you could do this for it to work. And I'm with you. The idea of talking to Arizona and trying to pull off the twofer is how you make this lineup and this team great. Assuming Atlanta's not going to deal their core, and that's been a fun conversation, but unlikely to happen. Who are the next best bats available? Well, it's Gino and it's Naylor. And I'm reading our buddy Jeff Passan this morning. He did a best match for every team that should be buying. Here's what he said for the Mariners. Weakness, corner infield. No kidding. Best match, Josh Naylor, Diamondbacks. Though the Mariners are managing with Solano and Luke Raley at first, upgrading to Naylor would transform Seattle's lineup for the better. Whether it's slotting him behind JP to ensure Cal comes to the plate with more base runners, or sticking him between Raleigh and Randy Arozarena to do the cleaning him up himself, Naylor's high average, low strikeout slugger whose quality at bats would help transform a solid Seattle lineup into something more. Totally agree with that.
Yes.
100%. Every single word he says. And maybe Jeff's been listening to us, because the next paragraph says pairing him with Eugenio Suarez would plug both of Seattle's holes, and certainly the Mariners have the prospect capital to pull off the double. Considering the state of their pitching, a tremendous rotation, and a Spire, Brash, Munoz endgame, the Mariners need only a depth reliever to feel comfortable. Upgrading the lineup is the distinct priority over the next 3 weeks, and executives expect Seattle to act aggressively.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Would you do me a favor? Could you put your Ebenezer's on and go to that Baseball Savant page and pull up Josh Naylor and see if just my gut and perception of playing against the Diamondbacks in that series, of playing against him over the last few years as a Cleveland Guardian, if the numbers actually match kind of my perception, because my perception is that he is a hard at bat, that he just does not strike out a lot, that he just sees quite a few pitches. The power, I don't know if it plays.
So here's what he is. First of all, they have him as an 84th percentile bat. He's an 84th percentile bat. Doesn't bring much in terms of base running or fielding, but an 84th percentile
Lyle,
bat.
can you bring him as Ebenezer?
I have them right here. I don't need them for this. He squares up a lot of balls. He doesn't strike out a lot. 71% whiff percentage, 92% in terms of K percentage. So he is right near the top, despite the fact that he'll chase a lot of pitches.
Yep.
But he's in the 92nd percentile on how tough he is to strike out.
He wastes so many pitches. He just grinds you. Put him around Cal Raleigh, put him around J.P. Crawford, and you just become a difficult lineup. You take some pressure then, I think, off of a Julio to be able to move down in that lineup. You allow Randy to have some more people in front of him as he's gotten hot, and we know that he is streaky. But this guy, he just strikes me as exactly what you want for the final 60, 70 games. Not just a professional bat, like a threat, like a pressurizing that opponent, which, as you said, this offense has scored more runs this year. They have done some good things. They have done some damage, and they're being carried by one of the great players in baseball this year in Cal Raleigh. Like, you put Josh Naylor in this lineup, and yeah, Eugenio would be great, and that would be a bonus. But just, man, yeah, I think my focus, hyper-focus, more than O'Hearn, more than some of these other additions, more than, Cleveland's moved on and right from him. And
now, the one challenge with that, Brock, I'm surprised at you a little bit because you like to read into people's body language, and you weren't happy with his body language.
He seemed miserable in Arizona. Just miserable. Game-winning hit, don't even touch me. But I think that's in Arizona. I think it's just miserable in the.
That's an Arizona thing. That's
in the strip malls and the tattoos and the 192 degrees.
He was much happier in Cleveland with the midge bugs and the mistake on the lake and everything else going on there.
Yeah, he looks like a grunge music guy. He could be walking First Ave. Yeah, I think he would. Yeah, I think he would fit Seattle.
Yeah. So these conversations are so entertaining because to see the reaction of people and I do believe it belies a lot of the history. I worry impact bats aren't really available. Well, there aren't a lot of them. You're right, 808, but Arizona's fallen out of it. I mean, they're 4.5 games back. There's a whole bunch of teams between them and a wild card, and that's a pure rental. That's right. Yes. It's 2 months. That's it. Gino's the same thing. Another one, no one in Seattle believes they will do anything. I don't know,
I mean, they
have done this.
They've been active at the deadline
the
last few years.
I think you can criticize rightly the lack of activity in the offseason.
Yes.
But I don't think it's fair to criticize their lack of activity at the deadline. In the last 3 years, they've had the best deadline of anyone 2 of the 3 times. I'm sorry, I don't know. You brought in Randy Arozarena and Luis Castillo both at the deadline in addition to other guys. That's a tough one for me. I don't know that I could say that.
Yeah, and by the way, this is where it also gets a little challenging. This is also where it's very easy for you and I on this side of the equal sign to say pay more. It's very easy for you and I to say just sign the guard from Indianapolis. Just sign him. Just give him what he wants. I don't care about his physical. I don't care. You want, just get it done. Because I'm sure on the other side of it, it's like, well, if you knew what Arizona was asking for, well, what are they asking for? Are they asking for Harry Ford for a rental? Okay. All right. I mean, that's, as you said, as you started this conversation, you've put yourself in a place where I think you have some margin, right? Where you've got some opportunities. You fell into the 3rd pick in this draft coming up here on
you can replace
Sunday.
some of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, guys like Harry Ford, to me, it would be shocking if Harry Ford was a Mariner in 3 weeks from tomorrow. He's more valuable to other teams than he is to Seattle. So find a way to use him to get what you need. And I'm not buying this thing from the 509. Salk, so you're saying you'd rather trade away the farm and in true Mariner fashion watch them become all-stars over the next 5 years and still miss the playoffs? No, thank you. Well, I mean, they're tied for the last playoff spot right now. This is where you can't have it both ways. You can't get mad that they won't make trades and then get mad when they do. You got to do it right. And the nice thing they've done is build up the farm system to the point where you can trade some of it. No one's saying trade away the entire farm unless you're getting an absolute superstar stud, which seems unlikely. You're talking about giving away some of it, retaining a lot of it, and then trying to do what you can do. Here's Jim. I played you Jim Bowden on Naylor. Here is Jordan Schusterman yesterday on the possibility of making a deal with the Diamondbacks.
It would be a little weird to kind of go half measures. Now, you could say, oh, maybe it's easier for them to replace a Suarez in the short term and with a guy like Jordan Lawler, I know he's been dealing with some injuries, than it would be to replace, trading several of their pitchers. But I don't know. To me, either they're going to go for it or they are going to trade, 3 or 4 guys. And I still think it's too early to tell which direction they're going.
There's one more thing I just think you've got to bring up as a part of this, Brock. And I understand some of the complaints. Hey, this is a 500 baseball team or just above. They are only a, plus 12 run differential. Why are you betting the farm? Why are you betting the house on this hand? It's not just your own hand. You got to see what the dealer has as well, and that's what David Schoenfield said yesterday.
I'll throw this out there. As good as the Tigers have been this year, they're solid. They're very deep, but they're beatable. At least when Derek Struble doesn't pitch, they're beatable. So if there's ever a year to go all in, it's this year. There's not a powerhouse team in baseball. The Dodgers have their issues. Tigers don't have a number 2 starter in my book. Yankees are vulnerable. So, yeah, this year is the year to go all in.
This year is the year to go all in. You are 6.5 years after you traded Robinson Cano and started the step back. You've built up the farm system twice since then, and this is as good as it's ever been in terms of depth. You've got a team that can pitch. You've got a team that can hit inconsistently, and another bat or two would change that and probably eliminate that word in. I think you've got a more consistent lineup if you add another bat or two to it.
And bless Harry Ford's heart. I mean, poor guy is going to be in his third straight futures game.
Yeah.
I mean, how many futures games can that guy
He's a good
play?
player.
He is a good player.
He's just worth more to someone else than he is to the Mariners.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, here we go with 3 good football questions. Do this every morning at 7:45, Blue 88. I know you watched the first episode of Quarterback. What stood out?
A bunch of things stood out. It's really well done. Right? We talked about that a couple years ago and what it did for Kirk Cousins' Q rating that year as you kind of saw this very authentic guy that is like, I don't know, 35 going on 65 in his Cole polos and sweaters up there and everything else. This is a cool look, man. What stood out to me is I did not know that Joe Burrow was so quirky. I think of Joe Burrow for some reason. I kind of think of Southern Ohio. I think a little LSU. I don't know. He's quirky. He's like Paris Fashion Show. He's got like some eccentricities to him that I didn't really necessarily think he had. He's also just a phenomenal thrower of the football. So that was one. Number 2, Jared Goff, I think, is going to be the big winner in this one. If it was Kirk Cousins a couple years ago in a Q rating, I think over the course of these episodes, you're going to look at it and go, man, I love Jared Goff. That dude's an overcomer. It goes back to being traded to L.A., Salk, that he really totally blindsided. Sean McVay called him. Didn't text him, called him, and just said, hey, we're going to trade you. And literally 30 seconds later, it hit Twitter and everything else. Like, there was no warm and fuzzies. There was no thank you for helping lead us to a Super Bowl. There were none of that. And he went to the Drek, right, of the league. And they were 1-10 to start out that season. So Jared Goff presents very, very well. And then I'll
never find him likable.
I think if you watch this, I know because he didn't know where the sun sat.
I just don't like him.
Such a Bay Area airhead, but I don't know, man. I'd be if you went into this without any bias.
That's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
Probably not going to do that.
I think you'd be hard pressed to not go. Man, I like that dude. He's a tough dude.
I'm probably not going to do that.
And then you know what, Kirk Cousins to spin this back to Seattle, and it was only an episode and a half. But to spin it back to Seattle, it was a little reminder of, as much as Sam has moved around, how starting over is not easy, even for veteran guys. And you could hear Kirk Cousins, bright guy, been in a lot of playbooks, like, man, we have 40 different motions. And you could feel his just gears kind of grinding. And we just want to assume, hey, man, Sam's been with Clint Kubiak. Hey, man, Sam knows this language. Yeah, even with veteran guys, it was a little reminder, whereas obviously Zach Taylor and Burrow have been together forever in Cincinnati, the comfort level there, it was a little window into there's going to be a learning curve. Even with familiarity of Clint Kubiak, there will be a learning curve, and I think that's somewhat what you felt out there in mini camps in the offseason.
All right, question number 2. We like to talk budget a lot in baseball. What about in football? What's going on with the Seahawks offense?
Yeah, did you see this? You see this little graphic I sent to you? I will put on my Ebenezer's.
Please
I won't
do.
Put my face way back and try to pretend like I can see when I can't see the fine print. This is based now on 2025 cap hits of all signed offensive players. So you got to be a little careful with this, and we can always move money around. And obviously, Sam Darnold got paid, Salk, a very expensive bonus. But when it comes to their cap number, kind of percentage of that overall cap, Seahawks are spending $99 million. That's it. Offensively, out of that 250-some million, they're down there. The Jets are 103, Steelers 105, Jags 110, Saints 115. So there is no question. It's kind of like scholarship offers in football. I remember talking to actually Mike Price about this years ago at UTEP, or maybe it was the coach that followed Mike Price. That's what it was. The coach that followed, he said, yeah, you know, Mike, we had like 85 scholarships, and it was like 55, 60 offense. Like, hey, man, I need some more defensive players here, but we're going to run the spread. We're going to be 5 wide. We're going to run air. We're going to do all this stuff, right? So how do you allocate your resources? And there's no question, man. Mike McDonald's defensive-minded head coach. Mike McDonald wants to run the ball. Mike McDonald is, going to play the style he wants to play. And that style, from a salary cap standpoint, very bent resource-wise to that defense.
All right, question number 3. Since you were talking about that team in Atlanta, how's Penix doing? Is he going to be a star this year?
Was it, who was it that did that a couple weeks ago that put out his future stars and had Michael Penix as a breakout star this year? Yeah, we just played
that sound the other day. I forget who it was.
Yeah, who was that? I think it was a couple weeks ago. If I had to kind of hedge my bet there, Salk, I'm going to bet on Michael Penix.
Yeah, me too.
And it's mostly because of that familiarity that he's going to get another year in that system. It's mostly because he's gotten to watch Kirk Cousins do it, right? And they actually had some patience. And as much as they got ripped, and we did talk about this just the other day, like this makes no sense to have both these guys on the roster, yada, yada, yada. Kirk was disappointed when they drafted him number 8. It is a situation that gives Penix the best opportunity to succeed. He's got weapons around him. He's got an excellent offensive line. Yeah, I don't know if they can surpass Tampa in that division. Right? Is the overall whole product defensively? There's still missing some pieces, but I think Michael Penix, I think he could throw for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and be a name that Husky fans can be very, very proud of in 2025.
Pretty cool. All right, that is today's Blue 88. I'm trying not to get caught up in arguing with one person, but the things of
is this the 509 again?
Yeah, it's just it's just when the information's wrong that it bugs me. Like this one says, how did the Astros go from a joke to a powerhouse? Not by trading, by the draft. Be patient. Except they traded for Justin Verlander and traded for Garrett Cole.
Yeah, when Jordan Schusterman was on with Bump and Stacy last week, he said that they mostly weren't built off their farm system. And
it was Bregman, and it was Altuve, and it was Correa, and it was Alvarez. Those are all homegrown guys.
Absolutely. It was both.
Yes.
But they also traded for Garrett Cole. They traded for Justin Verlander. They traded for what's his name? Michael Brantley and the old Royal
what position? Give me something.
DH at that point. He used to be an outfielder. He was a big part of the cheating scandal.
You mean Josh Reddick?
I don't know, but
he was homegrown too.
No.
Reddick was traded for.
Yeah, he was a Red Sox and then an A, and
no, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
You said a Royal?
Yeah, he's a really, really good player. I'm just completely blanking on his name.
But he was a Latin player too.
Yeah.
It's right.
Carlos. God darn it. All right. Well, I'm getting old. I can't remember names.
You know what's a fun fact? You know Yordan Alvarez was not originally an Astro?
I do. He was a Dodger, right?
Traded for Josh Fields.
How about that?
Very, very young, though, in the minors.
Well, of course, but it's still a funny one to look back on.
The same Josh Fields that Jack drafted in the first round, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that didn't go out very well.
Baerga?
No, Carlos... No, for God's sakes.
Yes.
He's like a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yes. Oh, you mean Beltran?
Yes, thank you.
Oh. Well, I don't think of him as a Royal.
When he was really young, wasn't he?
Lyle, this is when you're supposed to help Salky out.
Thank you.
I don't think of him as a Royal. He was a Cardinal. He was a Met. He was I don't know.
Aren't you supposed to help? What's your job here?
We had a here's the thing while you were gone about they're concerned about Brock and how he starts coughing when he starts laughing. Yep. You used to do it, and now it's more Brock than you.
You okay, Brock?
Oh, I've been battling some gunk here for some weeks.
Some gunk.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, well, I didn't realize we were dealing with gunk. If I had known that.
Do we have Here's the Thing?
Yes, and in fact, we've got a lot of them. Carlos Beltran started his career in Kansas City, played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years there.
Doggone it, Lyle.
Lyle, come on. You're killing me over there, buddy.
Well, I think he was better as a Met and a Cardinal.
Well, no one said he wasn't. It's just that you're not old enough to remember those things.
That is true.
We'll be right back with Here's the Thing next on Brock and Salk.
He's the southpaw from down under, Ryan Roland Smith with Wyman and Bob.
What was your reaction to Julio making the All-Star squad?
Julio going to the All-Star game is nothing but great. It's good for his confidence. I would say J.P. Crawford had a bigger case at shortstop than Julio did at center field to make the All-Star game. When you have a leadoff hitter with the on-base that he has, I thought J.P. had a bigger case.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman joined by a very special guest, Dr. Daniel Landis. He's on the Swedish CyberKnife team treating prostate cancer and accepting new patients. Dr. Landis, what could patients expect during CyberKnife treatment?
So the CyberKnife treatment's an outpatient procedure. Essentially, it's a 5-day treatment, about 30 minutes per day. You walk in, you walk out. You essentially don't feel anything at all during treatment. Many patients still work full-time while they're having treatment.
That's incredible. Where are your patients from?
We see patients from all over, patients from out of state, Alaska, Idaho, from all over the world, honestly, since it's such a short treatment.
How can someone get a hold of you?
I would encourage patients to reach out to us directly. We'd be happy to schedule a consultation.
Thank you, Dr. Landis and the team at Swedish CyberKnife for the wonderful work they do. And remember, you don't need a physician's referral. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. That's swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Iddens because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have that new car you've been looking for. With the power of choice, drive the sleek hybrid Camry, leasing as low as $299 a month, the dependable Corolla, or the electric Prius, leasing at just $309 a month. If you're headed to the ballpark or cruising I-5 from the north or the south, visit Toyota of Renton or Kirkland, or shop online at toyotaofrenton.com and toyotaofkirkland.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
The perfect night out this summer is under the stars at the drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films, cool cars, and unforgettable memories, all from the comfort of your own ride at the LeMay America's Car Museum Movie Nights. Bring the kids, pack snacks, and tune in for fun. The next showing is Transformers on July 27th. LeMay Drive-In Movies, where the big screen meets the open road. Space is limited, so reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out for baseball here at T-Mobile Park.
Home. Home is where you gather. With friends. With family.
Ball to right field. It continues. Jorge Polanco.
Sometimes even folks you don't know. But in a way, you do. Because you share at least one thing in common. And one thing can be pretty powerful when it's multiplied by 40,000.
Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Welcome home.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with an AL West showdown against the Astros July 18th to 20th.
Don't miss your chance to catch Cal and the crew square off against their division rivals at T-Mobile Park. Then it's 3 straight Mariners value games versus the Brewers, July 21st to 23rd. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
The countdown is on.
13 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to see you on minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! All right, Brock, we're going to get right into these. Here's the things. There's a lot of them today, and I want to make sure we don't give anybody short shrift. So, you know how this works. You can leave us messages through our Seattle Sports app, and we'll play them for you right now.
Brock Ewert doesn't just hate one kid.
I am so disappointed in Michael Salk.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're mindless. Love you, bye.
It's time for Brock and Salk's Here's the Thing.
Okay, here's the thing.
Well, and we got some new people this week as well, Brock. I know you like that. So let's kick it off here, right, with Ethan, who goes first.
I'm at work right now, and my coworker just told me, hey, I'm going to be gone. I'm taking a Mike Salk. He's taking a 10-week paid sabbatical.
Wouldn't that be a Ryan Divish?
That would be a Divish.
How is that a Mike Salk? I've never taken a 10-week paid sabbatical.
Nope.
I would if I could.
Would you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
He's less than a month away from being back.
Of course I would.
Divish.
You'd leave us for 2.5 months?
Huh? Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't do
if
that
I was paid,
you guys.
Of course I would.
How could I leave the show?
How could Ryan Divish leave the beat?
He's a sole proprietor.
Don't care. No, he's not. He's a team with Adam Jude, who's going to join us in a half hour, and Tim Booth. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'd see you later.
Okay.
I'd do that. But I have never been able to. This is perfect for 710 Day today. It's July 10th, of course, 710 Day. And Levi has a question about the early days.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've texted in. I've tried a couple different avenues. Texting, Twitter, nothing. I'm really interested to know a story from the early days of Brock and Salk when you hated each other. I'd like to know the most upset you guys have ever been at each other.
First of all, I wouldn't say we hated each other. That's not accurate.
Was that on his truck walkie-talkie?
breaker.
I like that. He's a trucker.
We never hated each other. That's not right. I think. Brock's quiet.
I will say, when Brock and I got lunch all those years ago, which Brock famously remembers, of course, he was telling me the story about starting at the station, and he said of all the people he interviewed with, he's like, man, that Salk guy. Huh.
You did not.
Just didn't feel it with that
That's
guy.
not true. You liar. You're such a liar. Big liar.
You and I had a lot of screaming matches that Colin Paisley had to separate. And I mean, not like physically fight. He'd just be like, we're going back on the air.
Right.
Like, enough!
I don't really even remember what they were about.
I don't either. Mostly politics.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
taxes, stuff like that. But I don't really remember them
College
that
football
well.
players being paid.
That was on the air and later.
Taxes is taxes.
That one continues now, Maura. Here's Jared.
Here's the thing. To all the Mariners fans who don't want Bregman because they, quote, hate the Astros, let me tell you what. I want Bregman because I hate the Astros. How much would Astros fans hate to see Bregman kill them in the playoffs
Brilliant.
on the Seattle Mariners with a walk-off home run to clinch a World Series title? Just saying.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant take from Jared.
Good point, Jared.
Now, unfortunately, the Red Sox are now tied with the Mariners as of today, so I don't know whether this is going to happen or not.
Is he even back? He's still out, right?
Yeah, he's still out. I saw a tweet from somebody at the Providence Journal. Boston's on a 6-game winning streak. Schedule's about to get tougher. Could determine whether they buy or sell at the deadline, so we'll see what goes on there. Here's Karen.
My God, you guys, ask your parents. There was an old TV show that was actually called Who Do You Trust? I believe it was hosted by a guy named Gary Moore, Moore. Look it up. Who Do You Trust was an actual TV show. The Johnny Carson thing, Maura, was a spin-off on the original Who Do You Trust from the 1950s and 60s. So you guys are all children, babies on this show. Brock, Salk, Ask Your Parents or your grandparents about the TV show Who Do You Trust.
But...
And that was a spinoff on Lyle, the Crocodile, which was a fabulous movie. So you guys should check it out. And the music soundtrack to that movie is great.
Wow.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Karen.
I did realize after we talked about that the other day that Lyle, Crocodile was a movie. Javier Bardem was in it.
It's not every day that people in their late 40s get called babies, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Grandparents.
Should I call Papa?
It'd be great.
Ask him. It's Papa's birthday today.
Oh,
Happy
really?
birthday, Larry. Yeah, should I call him and ask him if he remembers Who Do You Trust?
Why don't you try to call your grandparents like she suggested? I don't think I have that one in me. Here's our friend Jacqueline.
Here's the thing. I'm calling to thank Brock for his salmon rub by Tom Douglas recommendation.
Yep.
It's been great.
So good.
We're really enjoying it. Also, I would request you please stop playing the music underneath Brock's Blue 88. It's quite distracting and irritating. Love you guys. It's Jacqueline LaCenter. Goodbye.
Love you, Jacqueline, as well. We've only been playing that same music under Blue 88 for, 16 years? It's probably going to stop.
Sometimes it can be a little loud. Sometimes it could be in the back.
Well, that's on the board op.
Right.
That's the board op issue.
Throw Lyle under.
Well, it used to be
Jacqueline
you
was top 5,
others
right?
have had problems. Yeah.
Jacqueline was a top 5 listener.
Top 5 caller. I don't know if she's a top 5. Here's the thing.
I mean, she got to go to the Seahawk practice that
Yeah,
day.
she crushed it. Asking Pete about Pat.
Yep.
What's the guy's name? Pete.
Lyle, would it surprise you that we went to lunch across the street and Salk made fun of the poor lad that ate his sandwich in about 6 seconds? You literally looked at him.
Which guy was that? Jesse? It was probably Jesse. In Bothell? That guy was. I mean, that's
He's
what
down at ASU now.
We have to move quickly because Zane left another really long message about the wedding.
Here's Kevin.
Here's the thing. The reason Mike doesn't take his shirt off in public is because the last time he did, he was confused for a gorilla that escaped from the Woodland Park Zoo, and he got darted. And Lyle doesn't take his shirt off because he doesn't shrug. No shrugs, no traps, no shirt off. Simple math.
No traps.
Yeah, you don't like
Dude,
shrugs.
Shoulder shrugs are not good for you.
Sure they are. Yes,
Neither
they
is
are.
eating nothing.
Those are not good for you. That is how you start walking around with a stiff neck the rest of your life.
Here's Danny.
Here's the thing. So you're telling me all that had to happen was Salk just needed to leave somebody off his most intriguing list for said person to have a historic first half and probably second? Perfect. Got the solution to next year. Next year's list better be as boring as hell.
We do have some new comments.
I know, yeah. Nice job, Danny. That's Danny with an I, by the way. D-A-N-I. I like that. We've got another kid singing.
The Mariners are gonna win this World Series. This year's gonna be the one. It's gonna be the Mariners gonna win the World Series. Ooh, ooh.
I don't know if I have 20 more seconds left in me.
The Mariners are just a good team. They got Cal Riley and Julio Rodriguez.
Okay.
You think that's a little kid? That's Stelton.
Oh.
Yes. That's Bobby.
Not nice. That's not right, Brock. That's not right. That's not Bob right there.
You missed it while you were gone, Brock. We had a child singing a song very well in another language that we still don't know what it is. No one on the text line was able to identify
Just
it.
wait. About 20 years from now, that kid is going to be getting ready for the home run derby, and they're going to be playing that song after his dad sends the video out to everybody. All right, we'll finish with Zane, who has more thoughts on the wedding.
Here's the thing, part 2. I don't know a lot about crashing weddings, but I do know this. You have to walk in with confidence, like you've been at this wedding all day long. You go directly to the bar and ask for another Coors, even though it's your first. You tip well, and then you just stand there and take it all in. So, yeah, I got in there a little after 9, and Brock stumbled upon me right away. Just after he may have been screaming at John Kitna, we had a very warm greeting.
Hold on. Stumbled upon him when he walked up to Brock and started talking to him. Amazing how we stumbled onto him.
Literally warm, as if I was hugging the sun. And yes, with a bit of trepidation, I did walk over and meet Salk. What was meeting Salk like? I am reminded of a video where some poor creature, like a deer or a pig, stumbles into a lion enclosure at the zoo. And the lion just sort of sits there, surprised at first, but then with this look of amusement, almost smiling, but not quite. And the creature has no idea what's going to happen, but the lion does. Especially when the creature maybe hovers around a couple of extra awkward minutes. Maybe he meets the lion's boss or the lion's daughter. No idea. Yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes to be a content creator, you have to allow others to create content at your expense. So if I have become a lion's meal, so be it. All kidding aside, I love you both. I'm glad I met you both. This was Haley and Dylan's day. I saw the coming together of great friends and great families. I saw at least 2 fantastic fathers sharing moments with their children, and there was nothing to do but go home and wonder what the hell was going on with my dysfunctional family. Anyhow, great to meet you guys. Glad you're all safe and sound.
All right. Thank you, Zane. That'll wrap up Here's the Thing today. There you go. All right. We're super late, but a lot of good texts. Everybody enjoying, like hearing lots of women on today's Here's the Thing. I agree. You guys are killing it with the old ladies. That's not very nice. You guys, this is awesome. We should have a once a month senior citizens only Here's the Thing from this point on. So the text machine responding in kind. Adam, Jude, and 20. Everything you need to know next.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
I'm just blessed, just trying to do the right thing and trying to keep it rolling.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th.
Because now you're just trying to square it up and barrel it up.
Right here on Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and a little sore this week. Not going to lie to you. Just trying to keep up with the football kids and the teenagers. Maybe not the best case scenario for an old player that's got some aches and pains, but you don't have to play pro football to know what I'm talking about. I know that many of you on this Thursday morning wake up with painful joints from arthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, anything in that doggone itis family. It affects you, and it makes it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that is where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine right over there in Kirkland. That's where he's ready for your call at 425-823-4000. 425-823-4000. Dr. Dan has seen so many patients suffering from chronic joint pain over the years. And, many have jumped aboard the regenerative medicine lately. Regenerative medicine train lately. Let me get that right. Not Dr. Daniel Nelson. He's the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques. I can say that confidently. It has been his heart and it has been his passion as he's been in medicine. And he has helped so many get their quality of life back. So if you're in pain, stop. Make the call this morning, 425-823-4000, or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
Planning a road trip? Plan a visit to your neighborhood Bucky's Complete Auto Repair for oil changes, brakes, AC repair, and factory maintenance. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, the Mariners have been giving up too many runs. No other way to say it. Just giving up way too many runs after shutting out the Pirates. The Yankees have scored 19 runs in 2 games. And unsurprisingly, the Mariners have not won those 2 games. Lots of home runs and lots of hits. And just a tough outing for Logan Evans, who just really... He just didn't have it yesterday and got beat up because of it. I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Carlos Vargas wasn't very good either. But they did put up 6 runs. They did hit 4 home runs, including this one, Brock.
Here comes the 0-2. Swung on, line drive, right field. Back is Judge. He's looking up, and it is gone! Home run, Cole Young. A huge smile on his face as he has done it. His first Major League home run, and it comes at Yankee Stadium.
That's a nice moment for a kid who seems like a good dude and one he'll remember forever.
Gosh, I think it was his first homestand. I know it was when he got called up, and he hit a ball about 390 feet just foul. Remember that? Just foul of the right field foul line, and not really had many close since. He's hit some. He's hit some in the minor leagues. He's not a Ben Williamson. He's not a zero power guy. He's got some of that in his bat. And yeah, that smile was like, okay, if I'm gonna hit my first, kind of cool to do it in the stadium.
Yeah, I'm with Angie though. I do miss the days when they would just completely ignore a guy who hit his first home run and turn their back on him in the dugout and all that stuff. It's too bad. It's fun to see them throw the sunflower seeds and all that. But
yeah, They were 5-0 in games this year that they hit 4 or more home runs. So they hit 4 of them. They just
hard to give up 9 runs in a game and win. Series finale tonight, though, it's a big one. Brian Woo's got to play stopper. They need him to be the guy he's been all year long and even more. Marcus Stroman for the Yankees has been bad. 5 starts, 16 runs, 19 innings. That's not very good. So an opportunity, hopefully, to score some runs in that ballpark. Astros lose last night, so the West is still at 6.5. Red Sox win, so they're now tied for that third wild card.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
3 weeks to the trade deadline. We're waiting on the sellers to emerge. Spent a lot of time talking about that today. And I'm sure we will almost every day of these next 3 weeks, trying to figure out what these teams are going to do. And I think the Diamondbacks hold the key to a lot of this. Jim Bowden on with Bump and Stacy yesterday.
I feel like the Diamondbacks will get to the deadline and realize their best play is going to be to move them. As long as they're not really in striking distance of the playoffs, they have 4 players that are going to be impending free agents. So Suarez, Josh Naylor, and then pitchers Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. When you have a seller's market like this, you can really do well in bringing back a return. And I think if you don't think you're going to make the playoffs this year, why wouldn't you trade those 4 guys and then try to sign them again in the offseason, where you get the best of both worlds? Maybe you get 8 prospects for those 4 guys and then turn around and sign 2 or 3 of them in the offseason after they've tested free agency.
That doesn't always work that way. I think the Bruins just tried to do that, as Maura will tell you, with Brad Marchand. Didn't exactly go that way. As he liked it in Florida so much, he decided to re-sign there instead. But I get the idea, and certainly that is the team to watch.
Yeah, and I know the draft is upon us, and that is where so much of the energy with all of these organizations is focused on. The Mariners, obviously, as well, with the 3rd pick. It's always fun. It's been fun all week with Lyle's breakdown, so I'll have another good one here at 9 o'clock, Salk. But the reality, and you said why you talk about it every day, because after today's game in New York and the 3 in Detroit, you'll be 96 games into the season. 96? 81's a halfway point. Like, you're well past halfway. 66 games to go after the break. So, yeah, if you want to get a difference maker, if this is the year, because there's not that dominant team out there, every day that passes is another game that matters.
Yeah, we'll have more conversation with Adam Jude coming up here in 10 minutes.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Flow again, has all day. Going to throw deep. Got a man deep. Love intercepts. Love is right there, stride for stride with the receiver, and he intercepts in the end zone.
How about that guy? Julian Love, the 10th best safety in the game, according to this ESPN list they've been putting out every day, voted on by league executives and coaches and scouts. Said some really nice things about him, too, noting that the money has paralleled his on-field ascension, how the Seahawks have given him some money now, 3 years, $33 million, and a lot of respect for what Julian Love has accomplished here.
Yeah, and I think this is just a home run fit. I think he knew it, and that's why he signed back here, and I think the team knows it. Just the football IQ, the smarts to get everybody lined up on the back end of that defense, all the route recognition, the former corner instincts that he has. That's cool, and it's nice to see him. He's gotten the Pro Bowl nod in the past as well, and nice to see these Seahawks having a top 10 defensive lineman, a top 10 safety, going to have a top 10 corner. That's how you build difference-making defenses.
All right, there you go. That is everything you need to know, quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I promised Adam Jude, and he's going to join us next. He has been on it. Everything regarding the trade deadline, what's going on with this team, the lineup, Cal, Julio, a whole lot more. The draft just a couple days away. Stick around. Adam Jude is next on Brock and Salk.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
I'm just blessed, just trying to do the right thing and trying to keep it rolling.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th.
Because now you're just trying to square it up and barrel it up.
Right here on Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and I know yesterday and today notwithstanding, the weather's been great. It's clearly summer. It's about to get really hot for the next week or two, and you're busy, right? Vacations, kids out of school, camps, running around. There's a lot going on. So you might think you're too busy to start a diet. No, not so much. Don't let it be an excuse. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic makes it so easy. You're not going to feel like you're adding on another thing to your busy life. No, you're going to be subtracting a ton of weight. I did it, lost 35 pounds. Ryan Rowan Smith did this program. He lost 30 pounds. Listener, we just, a week or two ago, 42 pounds down with more to go. Summer is a really good time to get this done. You'll have more energy. You're going to feel great. The food tastes good. Yeah, Dr. Coogan's worked with over 4,000 people locally and delivered successful results. So be the next. Schedule just a 15-minute call with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Icy cool and oh so sweet. It's $305,000 in cash. Turn over a new leaf by winning your share of these big summer bucks. Every Saturday in July and August, golden opportunities abound with hourly drawings from 8 p.m. until midnight, when one grand prize winner will score $10,000 with $50,000 on the last Saturday of each month. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. When you hear Harley Exteriors, think windows manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help you with your home's resale value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your entire project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Do you find yourself searching the medicine cabinet for pills and sprays during allergy season? How about having to buy one more medication when the season hits? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We offer a solution that will save you time, money, and frustration. Rhine-Air is a simple, minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're taking new patients in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
The perfect night out this summer is under the stars at the drive-in movies.
Enjoy classic films, cool cars, and unforgettable memories, all from the comfort of your own ride at the LeMay America's Car Museum Movie Nights. Bring the kids, pack snacks, and tune in for fun. The next showing is Transformers on July 27th. LeMay Drive-In Movies, where the big screen meets the open road. Space is limited, so reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Adam Jude going to be with us here in just a moment or two. So we'll chat with him and figure out what's going on with the trade deadline and the draft and a whole bunch of other stuff with him. I should point out, Brock, an hour from now, we are going to have some fun with Cal Raleigh home run calls.
Oh, that's
right. We've heard how many Cal home runs this year, 36 of them, right? And you get a call on TV and a call on the radio, so at least 2 for every one of those 36 home runs, right? So that's 72 home run calls that Mariners have had so far this year for Cal. But you guys get a chance to give your best Cal home run call, and we'll take the winner and give you some tickets. So that's coming up at 9:30 this morning. I'll play you the Julio ones in a little while just to remind you what that was like. But that's at 9:30 today.
We got a prize, correct?
Yeah, I just said we got tickets to give away.
Whew.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's talk to Adam Jude. Before then, we won't make him give his best Cal home run call because he's gotten to see a whole bunch of them so far this year. Good morning, Adam. How we doing?
Morning, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. No, we want to have you. We're 3 weeks today from the trade deadline, and so we'll probably get there in a moment. Kind of start with what you're seeing on the road trip. It is, looks very different from what we saw at home last week. What do you make of some of the, I guess I'll just call it inconsistency, ups and downs from this team this year?
Yeah, obviously the home road splits are always going to be pretty funky with this offense in particular. You look at Julio, he's the example 1A of a guy who really seems to do well on the road and struggles at home. And you could probably go up and down the lineup outside of Cal Raleigh. But with this team, they're just so streaky offensively too. I feel like we're going to have these wild swings with this team this year. That's what we've seen. And we just haven't seen all facets of this team, right? We haven't seen the pitching come together at the same time as the hitting. When the hitting is up, the pitching is down. When the pitching finally gets right last week, the offense was just scraping by a little bit. So obviously they need everything clicking if they're going to stay in this wild card race. I'm not sure it's realistic to really inch back in this AL West, frankly, with what Houston's been able to do. But we're finally starting to see the vintage George Kirby coming back. And I think the next step really for this team, the biggest key for me is kind of getting Logan Gilbert back to being the guy we saw the past couple of years. Obviously the injury hiccup was a big reason for that, but he had a great 4 innings the other night at Yankee Stadium. Then that rain delay, who knows what would have happened if not for that. But again, to me, as much as people want to talk about Julio, I look at Logan Gilbert being the workhorse, being the ace of this staff the past couple of years, and kind of looking at him getting right and really leading this thing and getting this rotation back on its feet.
And I think it was the first month of the season, Salky talked about not just the home road kind of differences and splits for the offense, but what about for the pitching dynamic as well? The difference between pitching in the home confines and some of these road trips and going out, and especially against this lineup and in this bandbox. How about the challenge of pitching away from home as well?
I mean, we've seen it the last 2 nights. It's a perfect example. Again, you could kind of use the rain delay as an excuse, but still, giving up all those runs, 9 runs last night. And yeah, it's your number 5 starter and Logan Evans, but a pitch here, a pitch there makes all the difference, as you said, against a good Yankees lineup. But this team is built on run prevention. That's what they are, a run prevention operation. That's where they spent the bulk of their money over the last 5 years or so. They expect to have a good defense every year. That's a big reason why we're seeing a rookie in Ben Williamson getting as long of a runway as he has. And yes, he's been really good defensively, so that's why he's holding down that spot. But not many teams would sacrifice as much slug, as much offense as they are to have a defensive player at third base, at that position in particular. But this is who they are. They're a run prevention unit. And when they're on the road, no matter where they are, Yankee Stadium, Fenway, wherever it is, they cannot give up obviously 9, 10, 11 runs every night and expect to compete. They're just not built that way. So they kind of have to get back to their identity, something Dan Wilson loves to talk about, just their core roots of who they are. And that's going out and pitching and shutting down teams and then turning it over to the back end of a bullpen, which frankly is about as good as anyone in baseball. So to me, it's getting that pitching staff healthy, getting back to who they are, preventing runs more than they are just about going out and out slugging teams.
Yeah, I was talking about that bullpen early this morning because, we get a bunch of texts late at night during the game. This team stinks. They're awful, this and that. And some of that is just obviously the emotional frustration of watching a baseball game. But when they don't get to use that bullpen, right, when they don't get to go to Brash and Munoz and Spire, it's taken one of the great weapons out of their arsenal. And so they don't look like necessarily a great team when they don't have the opportunity to use one of the things that makes them at the very least a good team.
Yeah, we saw it last night too. It was a little surprising to me. I think we saw a little bit of a shift. We saw Dan Wilson sort of show his cards a little bit and went to Carlos Vargas there in the 5th inning. I don't know if we've seen him that early this season. Carlos Vargas, no, he's not Matt Brash, he's not Andres Munoz, but he's been a bit of a revelation out of the bullpen this year. He's been really, really good for them and provide a lot of stability. So for Dan to go to Carlos Vargas there in the 5th inning when they were down still a couple runs, it showed me just how important that game was for them last night, knowing that they still wanted to stay competitive in that series. He had Gabe Spire up. I think he would have gone to Brash next if they were able to kind of keep it within a couple runs there. Of course, Julio misplays that line drive in center field, and kind of that inning gets away from them, and they have to pivot there. But again, that's the whole thing lines up. We've seen that on the last road trip. We saw it on the last homestand that when things are lined up and they have their guys, they're able to go to Vargas, Brash, Spire, Munoz. They are a really, really hard team to beat, and they're able to hold on to those 1-run leads really regularly. And again, that's just how they're built. They're not built to go out and win 6-5 games. We're so accustomed to seeing this team over the past few years win those 2-1, 3-2, 4-3 games, and that's what they're going to have to get back to because that's just how they're constructed. That's who they are.
Adam, I know you wrote a great piece, last week or so, and a bunch of the trade candidates, and we'll get to that here in a second. But is it your understanding that really it's all hands on deck with the draft this Sunday? Like, you don't anticipate anything happening really on the trade front before this draft?
Correct. I'd be stunned if anything happened just because it's not just the Mariners. I mean, the whole industry has kind of gone into hibernation here leading up to the draft. And this is such an unpredictable draft, too. So I think it's made it even more challenging, particularly for teams drafting in the top 10 like the Mariners there at number 3. No one's quite sure what's going on. It's really funny checking in with folks around the industry. Like, some people think they have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen 1 through 5. Some people are just throwing up like, no one knows what's going to happen here. And so you almost have to chuckle because the Mariners finally get a top 3 pick the first time in forever since Zunino, I think. And now there's not even a clear superstar. There's not an obvious 1, 2, 3 there. And so who knows? The MLB draft is obviously so unpredictable anyway, but it just feels like this time around it's even more so. So everyone's kind of into hibernation, and they'll probably peek their head up again after the All-Star break next week, really dive into the MLB trade deadline. There just aren't any trades to make right now anyway, even if the draft wasn't there. There are just too many teams still within reach of a playoff spot. Again, we circle back to the Arizona Diamondbacks. More than anyone, they're kind of still hanging on by a thread. They still want to stay in it. Everyone's kind of looking at them and the Orioles and a few other teams to finally kind of acquiesce and say, okay, we're going to be sellers here.
Talking to Adam Jude, the Seattle Times, who I've mentioned a bunch of times, just doing a phenomenal job on that beat. Everyone should have someone near them go take a sabbatical and give you the opportunity to just be like the primary guy. It's just working out gangbusters for Adam, who's been awesome on the beat this year. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see him. He's on video with us this morning as well. You mentioned the Diamondbacks. Gets me thinking, man, that's sweep in Arizona. If you turn just those 3 games around, what a totally different season this is. And all of a sudden they're 7 games, 8 games out in the wild card, and they're definitely selling, and you really have an opportunity to do something. What do you think it takes? I mean, they got 2 guys that fit, one on each corner of this infield. What do you think it takes to get both guys from Arizona?
Yeah, it's not going to be cheap, of course. And I would say even they've got all three things you really need right now: first base, third base, and seventh, eighth inning relief guy too, and probably Shelby Miller or one other piece too. I think ideally the Mariners would love to repeat what they did last year: go out and get three pieces, an impact bat for the middle of the lineup like Randy Arozarena, some sort of supplemental bat like Justin Turner, and then a seventh, eighth inning leverage arm too, like they had in Jimmy Garcia last year. The Mariners would love to do that. Again, I don't think that's realistic given this market and given that there are so few sellers out there. But I do keep circling back to Josh Naylor at first base there. He's just such a perfect fit for what the Mariners need right now. Again, you step back and go, well, what's it going to cost if the Diamondbacks eventually get there and are one of the few sellers and Josh Naylor is one of the few bats available? The asking price is going to be really high. Are you really willing to give up a top 10 prospect for 2 months of Josh Naylor? He's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. So is Gino Suarez. Yes, the Mariners have a big trade chip in Harry Ford. They don't have an obvious spot for him. It might be what it takes to even get 2 months of Josh Naylor. I think I would do that, but at the end of the day, can you really give up 6 years of club control for a Harry Ford, a guy who looks like he can probably be a regular catcher in this league with really intriguing offensive upside for 2 months of a Josh Naylor? If you can guarantee yourself that'll get you in the playoffs, sure, it makes sense to me. But at the end of the day, that's why Jerry Dipoto, that's why Justin Hollander get the big paychecks and they make the tough decisions, because it's not going to be an easy one. I feel like it is going to be a painful trade deadline for the Mariners one way or the other. Either they're going to be disappointed they didn't get the bat, or they're going to be disappointed in how much they had to give up to go get 2 months of a rental player.
It's funny. I would say the easy answer to that question is yes, but with a asterisk on it. Yes, I would absolutely give up Harry Ford to get 2 months of a guy like Josh Naylor, unless there's a way to package Harry Ford in a deal to get somebody with more than 2 months of club control, right? And that's when you start having these kind of dreaming big conversations about the Braves selling with Acuna or with Matt Olson or anyone else. Do you have a thought on some of the longer term possibilities that might be out there?
Yeah, I really don't think Atlanta's in a position to sell any of their core players. I mean, Ronald Acuna Jr. Might be the most talented player in baseball, and he might have the most team-friendly contract in baseball too. I just don't see any scenario where Atlanta's going to go, yeah, okay, we'll give him up. Even if the Mariners offered a Juan Soto type package like the Nationals got, like even then, I think that the Braves would probably balk at that. Again, that might go down. That Soto trade might go down with James Wood as one of the best trades of all time. But even then, like you're talking about prospects versus what they know is, again, maybe the best player in baseball when he's healthy, and Ronald Acuna Jr. Matt Olson is a guy I've thought about too. Makes a ton of sense, obviously, for what the Mariners want, but he's under a pretty fair contract too, and he's one of the best power hitters in baseball. Again, I just don't see the Braves giving up any of those core pieces in Austin Riley. I've asked around the industry a little bit. Everyone would said they would be stunned if the Braves did something like that, even with as disappointing as this season has been. I know you guys have talked about Alex Bregman too. That was another sort of pie in the sky one I threw out. Obviously the way the Red Sox are playing right now, looks like they're going to be more buyers than sellers at the deadline. But a lot can happen in 3 weeks. The Mariners could fall flat on their face and have to reassess and sort of straddle that line in a few weeks from now too. Who knows? A lot can and will happen in a few weeks. And that's what makes this deadline so intriguing, just because we don't know. We can throw out these names, and this is still that time to, like you said, dream big. Why not? But it is really unpredictable. If I had to bet anything right now, I'd say the Mariners aren't going to be able to make a big splashy move, just because there aren't going to be that many guys available. And I know that's not what Mariner fans want to hear, but I think that's probably the most realistic scenario at this point.
If you were to gauge in your conversations with folks around the Mariners, their interest level in the market, though, how would you characterize that? Do they want to be hyper aggressive?
Absolutely. If you guys know Jerry Dipoto, you know he wants to do something. And I think as frustrated as Mariner fans were, as everyone was at the lack of activity over the winter, I think that front office was just as disappointed as anyone else not to be able to kind of get that one one batter, that one meaningful addition that obviously this roster, everyone could see that they needed. So they're itching to do something. I think whether you believe in this roster building philosophy or not, the Mariners have used the trade deadline the past few years as such a key part of their roster addition and of their sort of core building philosophy. You look at Randy Arozarena and Luis Castillo in particular, two of the most important guys on the roster, and those are two of the biggest trades that have been executed at the trade deadline in baseball the last few years. And I feel like Jerry, if the opportunity presents itself, Jerry and Justin will go out and pull that trigger again. Again, what prospect are you willing to give up? They're willing to give up something. I can tell you that. They've proven that. They've said that again. They know this roster. They know this team is close. They're fighting. They're hanging on here even through all the pitching injuries. And they're going to go out and try. Whether trying is good enough at the end of the day, we'll find out. But they certainly are going to try.
You're getting to cover one of the great seasons of all time so far by Cal Raleigh. How cool is that? What has been your favorite Cal moment, either on or off the field, of being around him and covering him this year?
I'm actually trying to wrap up a big Cal Sunday story right now, leading into the Home Run Derby and the All-Star break, and able to catch up with a lot of his old friends and family. And, I'll give you a little nugget. I talked to Justin Turner this week, obviously briefly a Mariner last year, but I could see those two connect right away on the side of the cage every day. Justin would talk to anyone and everyone about hitting, but him and Cal really just hit it off right away. And I could just see something, kind of a light bulb a little bit for Cal Raleigh. I wanted to revisit that, track down Justin Turner this week. And it was really intriguing. I learned a lot because I was just trying to learn as much of how is Cal doing this? What is happening beyond just the swing mechanics? But he's obviously entered a different stratosphere here. And you talk to anyone around him, anyone that knows him, people that have known him for a long time. No one is happier for him than the people around him, because he's the first guy to deflect credit. He genuinely is so humble and modest about all this. He's not a guy that seeks out the attention. Yeah, he's on ESPN. He's doing all these interviews, it feels like, every day. And everyone's asking him about the nickname. Where did that come from? They love the nickname. And he's just got this natural, everyman quality about him. One person described him to me as a beer in the shower type of guy. And I thought that was just so perfectly described Cal Raleigh. Like, that's who he is. He just feels like he's one of us, except he's got the Paul Bunyan power, right? And, it's one of the best, like, out of nowhere stories too. And I think that's what makes it such a great nationwide story right now, is no one saw this coming. Who is this guy with the crazy nickname and the crazy power? And it's been fascinating. Like you said, I've been trying to dig into it more, and just all the way going back to when the Mariners almost didn't draft him and how they signed him at the very last minute. And just kind of the way he's built up and made himself into the superstar he is. It's a pretty fascinating story.
So no concern that the humility is all fake after seeing the video of him at 8 years old and saying he's the man. No concern. It's inauthentic.
You'd love to see a kid, man. That's the everyman quality. Wasn't that all of us?
100%.
In the backyard, and that's my kids right now. And it's just, it could not have happened. You hear everyone say this could not have happened to a better guy. He deserves it as much, if not more, than anyone. And I truly believe that. I've been around him the past few years now, but seeing him up close every day, he's the first at the ballpark, the whole cliche. First at the ballpark, last to leave. He's still working out even after catching 9 innings every night. And my big question is, how long can he keep this going, of course, right? Because we've never seen this out of a catcher. And so we've never seen this out of a catcher in the second half of the season. As it gets hot in July and August and September, are his legs going to stay fresh? Is he going to have to get off his feet a little bit more defensively? Those are some questions here for down the road, but I think those are legitimate ones too.
It's funny you went there, Salk. I thought you'd go with Passon's piece coming out. When did Passon say his piece is coming out?
Next week. He said it was going to be the best one.
Monday,
so yeah.
And we asked kind of Passon, why do you think that's going to be the best? And he simply said because he wrote it.
Yeah.
So I mean, head to head with Passon, do you feel better about your article, or who's going to have better nuggets? What are we thinking?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah. Passon's as good as there is going right now, so I should probably keep him out.
No.
I'm excited about mine. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, what about Divish coming back? How's all this going to work? Is Divish even going to be invited back? Is he for sure back? How's all this going to sort itself
Wally
out?
Pipp situation?
Yeah, I heard he almost got kicked out of his first Legion game. I heard a couple weeks ago, just narrowly hung on there. Didn't pick up any bases, I don't think yet. But last I heard, they were 19-3 in conference there in Montana.
Wow.
He might get a new contract for next year. So who knows? We'll see.
Hey,
with that guy.
Just to come back to this team for a moment, talking to Adam Jude, who has been on the Mariner beat all this year, and before that too, doing a great job for the Seattle Times. Last month or so, all the conversations about small ball seem to have kind of disappeared. What is that? Just the weather changing? What's happened to the aggressive small ball Mariners?
Yeah, I think even some of that, I think the last sack bunt we saw, I'm probably misremembering this a little bit, a couple weeks ago from J.P. Crawford. Turns out that was J.P. Crawford doing it on his own. It wasn't a called sack bunt either. I found that kind of funny in the moment. But yeah, I do think some of that was overblown, even if you think back to last year. Yeah, we saw some of it just because we never saw any of it with Scott Service, right? But I think Dan Wilson is... he's learning on the fly. He's had to learn on the fly. He's never done this before. And the people you talk to around him, he's so good at culture building and connecting in the relationships. That's his sort of superpower. And then the last thing that was going to come was the X's and O's in the dugout, right? Which, of course, 7 o'clock every night, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. But, I think he's he's digging into the numbers a little bit more, let's say. I think he's understanding, the situations and maybe when to, what tricks to pull out of his bag and when. And, there was even one last week, I think, with Cole Young. It looked like an obvious sack bunt situation with your number 9 rookie hitter, and he didn't do it. And Cole Young ended up, I think, striking out in that situation. Runners at first and second. But it was sort of like, look, he'd been on a nice little roll at that point. You want to give your young guy some confidence and let him swing away and try for the best there. It didn't work out. But I do think Dan Wilson isn't stuck in his ways like everyone thought he was going to be this super old school guy. I think shows that he's pretty flexible and he's learning on the fly here. It doesn't mean he won't go back to the sack bunt here and there, but certainly, to your point, hasn't been a feature of his strategy.
Last thing too would be just what about, we've talked, every day I get texts about moving Julio out of the 2 spot. And, since you're in Divish's role right now, you have to deal with questions about the lineup. I'm not a big lineup guy in general. I really generally don't care that much. But the idea of a guy with a 305 on base percentage hitting ahead of Cal Raleigh is starting to, I think, become pretty noticeable, especially with JP and Randy Arozarena both getting on base at a pretty good clip. Could you move Cal up to 2? Could you move Randy up to 2 and keep Cal at 3? Is there an opportunity to maybe try to put some more runners in front of Cal?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question, fair game, and something they'll certainly have to visit and talk about coming out of the All-Star break if things don't change with Julio. Again, Julio is as streaky as anyone. We've seen it throughout his career right now, and so you don't want to press the panic button if you're the Mariners and if you're Dan Wilson and cause Julio any reason for concern. At the same time, yeah, if Cal's doing what he's doing, you need people on base. You don't want solo homers. We saw him hit 4 homers last night, but you're not scoring enough runs at the end of the day. And it's a tricky balance, right? You need someone behind Cal Raleigh to protect him too, and you could argue that lineup protection is overrated as well. But they got to figure something out. And again, if they're able to make a trade at the end of the month, obviously some of those questions will answer themselves. But Julio is obviously an ongoing discussion, and it's more than the 30 seconds we have here. But there are a number of things there. And again, it's not that Julio's not trying and that he's not deserving of the All-Star selection or all that stuff. Like he's trying to figure it out. And at some point you feel like he's going to, because every summer he does. And so I think that's what the Mariners are banking on. I know that's what they're banking on. It's right there. He's so close. For me, he's just got to get in the box and be an athlete and stop overthinking things right now, because he seems to be in his head again. He seems to be just chasing every first pitch, no matter where it is. And we know how good he is. We know how good he can be. It's just a matter of him relaxing and getting the box and see the ball hit the ball for me.
Well, great stuff. Thanks for doing this. I had texted with Adam, hoping to get him in next week for a roundtable, but he's got family stuff. Pretty exciting, actually, what you're doing. I don't know if that's public or not, but I think it's pretty cool what you're doing, taking your kid out to go college shopping and looking at campuses and all that. So have a great time with family. We'll miss you, but thanks for doing today, and great job all year. We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
All right, there you go. There's Adam Jude from the Seattle Times, and a lot in there, Brock, certainly that we can come back to. Got to take a break. We'll come back. Lyle is getting ready for his fourth draft profile. I think they've been really good.
Do, me, fa, sol, la, di, do, me, fa. You notice there's voice lessons that he does behind the scenes?
I don't know that I've heard that.
Ready.
Lyle
Yeah.
draft profile next on Brock and Salk.
This summer, the Mariners take over Atlanta with the All-Star Fantastic Four.
Holy smokes!
Andres, Bryant, Julio, and Cal.
Number 34 for the big number.
Congratulations to the Mariners All-Star 4. Hear the Mariners All-Stars in the 2025 All-Star Game, Tuesday afternoon at 5. Only on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you gotta look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words. Packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better. Better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey everybody, it's Bob Stelton here. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, if you're somebody like me who struggled with distance vision, maybe you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution like it was for me. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. K2 Vision RLE is quick, painless, and I am seeing great now without glasses or readers. I can actually read restaurant menus. I can read the receipts when they show up. I can read texts on my phone. It's amazing. RLE is an absolute game changer. I'm so excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that's permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. K2VisionRLE.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. When you hear Harley Exteriors, think windows manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help you with your home's resale value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your entire project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is the story of the one.
As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get it freaking out!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, let's see. 3 weeks till the trade deadline, Brock. 13 days until training camp starts. Less than 2 weeks. That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
And only how many days before the draft? 3?
3 days.
3 days. So
and
3
Ichiro's
weeks.
Hall of Fame is
13
like in a month
days.
as well.
Yeah, that's coming up. So there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up. The draft is first, the MLB draft, and Lyle's been giving us every day one of his Lyle draft profiles.
So there's been a theme of each of these, right? We've talked about the college bat and Ivar Arquette. We've talked about a college arm and Jamie Arnold. Yesterday, I used the theme of family ties with Ethan Holiday. Today's about risk-taking. And I am an avid idea of being a risk-taker here.
Okay.
I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.
All right, so here we go.
Okay, what kind of music we got for this?
Just normal.
Okay.
But Seth Hernandez is today's profile. He's a high school righty from Corona, California. I've been building these guys up, going high to low. I'm going to go low to high with this one because first and foremost, this is totally against the Mariners' MO, right? The Mariners don't take high school arms, not with their first pick at least. You look at the arms they've taken for the last 7 years, college arms, Kirby, Logan, Gerangelo, Hancock. They just don't take a lot of high schoolers. And part of that has to do with the idea that high school arms, especially right-handed high school arms, do not have a good track record. And because of that, their floors are often low. Innings aren't built up. Injuries can be a little bit more likely. Maturation as a pitcher doesn't pair up with college arms. So there's much more risk there. Again, especially with the high school righties. But, if Seth Hernandez clicks, fire me all the way up for this idea of this pick. I've been a little hesitant during these to kind of talk about what my own philosophy would be with this draft and what I'd love to see them do. I've kind of just been...
Because you're selfless. It's not about Lyle.
Yeah, I've just been doing the profiles.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get a little bit selfish with this one. The Mariners do not pick this high, ever. And when you get a chance to have a pick that you essentially lucked into, don't take the safe pick. Don't take the guy that's going to have the high floor, low ceiling. Take the swing. Take the swing on a guy who can be a star. And Seth Hernandez is the ultimate pinnacle of the idea in this draft of swinging on a star.
More than Ethan Holiday.
Close, but I think the upside is the highest to anybody in this draft.
Okay.
So who is he? Again, he's 6'4", 195. First off, he's a really good athlete, and there's room to add to the frame. But then when you get into the actual pitches, man, I mean, you are talking 4 offerings that could all be plus if it all works. The fastball changeup combo, lethal. He's a guy that sits in the mid-90s right now, but he's gotten up to 96 to 98. As a high schooler at 18, he's already hit 100. Like, he's throwing 100 miles an hour as an 18-year-old high schooler with a changeup that not only has ridiculous drop-off velocity-wise from the fastball that makes it very hard to pick up. But the changeup, man, it drops. Like, it's got bite, and it gets guys swinging and missing. And if that isn't enough, then he's got a curveball that's real, that's like a true 12-6 offering. And the spin rates on that, again, as an 18-year-old, pretty off the charts for what he's doing at 18 years old. So you're talking about a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, a real swing and miss changeup, a chance for a real swing and miss curveball, and a slider that's progressing its way up too. So again, 4+ pitches, good athlete, clean delivery. It all could grade out as plus if it all clicks. And you're just looking at the idea of this guy in a class that kind of lacks star power right now that says, yeah, he could be a star. Now again, I'll say it, floor, it's low because the track record with high school righties just doesn't always have the highest hit rate. But I'm dreaming on what Seth Hernandez could be if it works. And I can't stop thinking about the idea of him one day potentially pitching at the top of the Mariners rotation.
All right, so a high school right-hander has never gone number 1 overall. There have been 9 of them that have gone number 2 overall, but since 1980, 1990, that list is Josh Beckett, tremendous pick for the Marlins, 99. Jamison Tyon, 13 and a half win. Good, but not great pitcher, right? Tyler Kolek in 2014, and Hunter Green. So it's pretty hit or miss.
Very hit or miss.
And you don't see it very often.
But again, usually they are so sound and on point with the pitchers they pick, right? And when they pick in the teens or the 20s, they get it right almost every time with Logan, with Kirby, with Gerangelo, etc. But 2 things here. Number 1, again, you've had so many chances to just take the college arm that you already feel good about with a high floor, and then you build them up even more and turn them into high ceiling guys like Kirby. What if you just take the swing this one time? When you've got this pick and you don't get many chances to take this level of talent, why don't you take the chance on the ace?
Brock, what do we think?
Ace?
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out.
You're out?
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out.
Okay. How come?
Because I'm going to take a swing, I'm going to take a swing with a high school bat. I'm going to take the swing with all of it. I'm not going to do that with an arm.
I would agree with you. I don't think the Mariners need to take a swing on a high school arm because they can always draft college arms that will be ready before that.
So I'm trying to think of a high school. So Sloan was a high schooler, right? And he's one of their top prospects now. So they just did that, last year? And everybody else, right? Wu was a college guy. Miller was a college guy. Evans was a college guy. They're all college guys.
Saintja, Logan, Kirby, all of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to take a swing, I'm going to take a risk.
They've done it with high school bats, right?
Yes,
Obviously, taking 3 of them in a row with Emerson and Farmello and Pete, and they've done it on the offense side, not as much on the pitching side.
So let me ask you this, Brock: if they were to take Ethan Holiday, you're more in on that idea?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with Brock.
I just continue to think about the idea of, look, eventually when you're going to have a new wave of arms in the rotation, if it's one day going to be Gerangelo, Ryan Sloan, Seth Hernandez, I could buy into that.
I will say, too, I've watched a little bit of film on him. He does look awesome. Have you watched him pitch at all, Brock?
Yeah.
The height coming down the mound as an 18-year-old, he looks like a professional pitcher. It's pretty impressive.
Real dynamic.
It's really impressive.
If this is who they take, I will come back on this show absolutely fired up.
All right, good. I love it. Oh, yeah, Sam Carlson was a high school guy. That is the one challenge, too.
Yeah.
Just you get injuries, unfortunately.
Exactly. Injury risk is higher.
It's a long way to go.
It's higher. I'm not saying that there's not risk with it. Again, like they took Walter Ford. He's progressed slowly. They took Michael Morales, who had a good year last year, but again, he's still in AA. There's risk. But again, the upside is he's up in the big leagues at 21 years old and dominating when you'd be drafting a college arm at that age.
Yeah, just draft a college arm at that age and bring them up. All right. Good stuff. Tremendous, as always. Lyle, great job all this week. That is 4 for 4 on the Lyle draft profiles. We've got one more to come tomorrow. I think I know who it's going to be, and we'll finish that up tomorrow at 9 o'clock before taking your calls at 9:30 tomorrow. Actually, we're going to do some calls today, but a different kind of call because we've got tickets to give away, Brock. We've got tickets to the game on the 20th. Who's that against, Maura? Who are they playing on the 20th? I know you told me. The Astros. Oh, we got Astro. Oh, we got Yeah, AL West Astro tickets here.
Right after the All-Star break.
Pretty good. For the 20th, we've got a pair of tickets. And in order to win them, you've got to give us your best Cal Raleigh home run call. Now, we've done this before. We did this with Julio. I want to remind people what that sounded like. And by the way, I mentioned this earlier, and someone wrote in and said, oh, I thought you were just trying to remind us what any Julio home run call sounded like. And that was not very nice. But these are what you guys gave us a few years ago for a Julio home run call.
Julio, Julio, it's time for the J-Rod Show. Julio, Julio. That's all I got.
That's all you need, brother.
I love it.
All right, so that was one example of a Julio call, right? You can make them creative. This was another.
Julio, oh, 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 oh.
That's Ty.
Oh, oh, oh. A home run.
And then here's one more from Greg.
Julio.
That was a Ricola, I think, takeoff right there of the famed lozenge. So think about what you got for Cal, Big Dumper, whatever you guys want to come up with. We will take your best Cal Raleigh home run calls in 20 minutes after everything you need to know next.
He's the southpaw from down under, Ryan Roland Smith with Wyman and Bob.
What was your reaction to Julio making the All-Star squad?
Julio going to the All-Star game is nothing but great. It's good for his confidence. I would say J.P. Crawford had a bigger case at shortstop than Julio did at center field to make the All-Star game. When you have a leadoff hitter with the on-base that he has, I thought J.P. had a bigger case.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Summer is here, and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors, expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy-efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates, and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Dave Wyman joined by Dr. Daniel Landis from Swedish Cyberknife. Dr. Landis, when treating prostate cancer, what can patients expect during Cyberknife treatment?
So the Cyberknife treatment's an outpatient procedure. Essentially, it's a 5-day treatment, about 30 minutes per day. You walk in, you walk out, you essentially don't feel anything at all during treatment. Many patients still work full-time while they're having treatment.
That's incredible. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It, really it felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Been a whole lot of home runs hit at Yankee Stadium over the last 2 games. Mariners even hit twice as many as New York did last night. Unfortunately, the Yankees also had a lot of other hits and a lot of guys on base. 9 hits and 6 runs, all coming off of Logan Evans. They would add 3 more against Carlos Vargas, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Give them credit. They battled back a little bit, and Jorge Polanco hit about as long a home run as you're going to see.
Here comes the 2-0. Swung on. That is lift off right field down the line. Is it going to stay fair? And it is gone. A long home run down the line for Jorge Polanco.
That one would have been gone in other stadiums, not just Yankee Stadium, but, just not enough. Logan Evans gets beat up, and they give up 9 runs. Here's what Dan said about his starter.
Some balls found some holes, some singles there, but, I think, for him being able, to get out there, it's his first time in the Yankee Stadium and a different kind of environment for him, but, gave up some hits, but I thought he settled back into it and it did a good job of kind of regrouping after that and got us into the 5th.
And I appreciate the positive outlook on it, but I don't think that was just a couple of singles that found holes. I mean, he was getting hit hard all night.
Yeah, you're a run prevention team. That's what Adam Jude said to us last hour, and I think he's absolutely right. One of your great strengths is the back end of your bullpen, and when you can't get to those guys on back-to-back nights in New York because of a bunch of crooked numbers in front of them, you're not going to find a way to win. Now, you've got to avoid the sweep, and Mr. Wu's got to be the stopper tonight. That's why he's the all-star. Every single outing out, he's gone 6+ innings going against a guy that has struggled. They know a little bit in Stroman. They've seen him through the years in Toronto, Salk. So Yeah, you can lose a game. You can lose a couple games. Heck, the Dodgers have lost 6 in a row, but you'd certainly like to go into this All-Star break after some nice momentum of those 17 games and find a way to stop it and get a win tonight.
Totally agree. Astros did lose last night. In fact, they got swept by Cleveland, so the lead stays the same, 6.5 in the West. Red Sox also win, though, so they are now tied with the Mariners for that final wild card spot.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, 3 weeks to go exactly until the trade deadline, and we're waiting for the sellers to emerge. I think it's pretty clear Ryan O'Hearn will get dealt as a bat. Diamondbacks, 4.5 games out of the wild card, so hopefully they're getting closer to selling, and I'm with you, Brock. I think Josh Naylor's about as good a fit as you could have. Jeff Passan wrote that this morning as well. You also do want to try to pick up another leverage arm, and some of the teams that should sell and are clearly sellers do have relief pitching. The Nationals, Pirates, Guardians, Twins all have at least one, if not up to 3 legit dudes that they could trade. Jim Bowden, on with Bump and Stacy yesterday, had another name that should be familiar.
And I know Jerry DePoto's always wanted Nathan Miller from the Athletics. I'm not sure he's going to get him on this time around, but it's certainly probably worth the conversation. I mean, the good thing about Jerry is the owners are willing to spend some money here at the deadline, and his prospect cabinet is full. So he has as good a chance of making a trade at the deadline of any of the contending teams in either leagues.
You know, the challenge, Salky, is, the other side of this. And we've talked about this for years. Now, the Mariners have gotten the job done. They as far as a market that over the years, because of so many wild card contenders, has not been robust, has not been rich, they've been able to do some pretty monster deals for Castillo and Arozarena. You just kind of hope that market's good enough. I kind of got the sense there from Adam Jude as he's listening, as he's talking to people around the league, as he's certainly talking to the Mariners. He just continued to say, end of the month, end of the month, end of the month. By the end of the month, we're going to be well over 100 games played. I mean, it's just like time is of the essence, and I would sure like to see this market become a little more robust.
Well, I think we're getting there. Again, to me, Arizona is the key to this whole thing, and I just kind of, again, with Jim Bowden, I'll play some more from him, that they're going to eventually realize they've got to do this.
I feel like the Diamondbacks will get to the deadline and realize their best play is going to be to move them. As long as they're not really in striking distance of the playoffs, they have 4 players that are going to be impending free agents. So Suarez, Josh Naylor, and then pitchers Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly.
They have to do something. At some point, you're too far out, and there's too many good teams ahead of you. But you're right. The way this league has been this year, teams win or lose 5-6 games in a row all the time.
Everybody has.
It's remarkable, and it just makes it really challenging to make a firm commitment on what you want to do.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Let's see. We've been going through these ESPN top 10 lists, Brock, and Seahawks had one on there in the top 10 with the Big Cat as one of the defensive tackles. He was number 6. Didn't get anybody on the edge. Nobody in the running back room either, short of K9 being number 21 as the others receiving votes. But on the safety list, a little bit better.
Hurts is going to throw again, has all day. Going to throw deep. Got a man deep. Love intercepts. Love is right there, stride for stride with the receiver, and he intercepts in the end zone.
There you go. That's Julian Love, and he was the number 10 ranked safety, according to executives and coaches and scouts around the league.
Yeah, it's good news. Good news. No Kobe Bryant, though, receiving votes, huh? No
Not surprising. Does that surprise you?
Not necessarily, but I'll tell you, man, those two were peanut butter and jelly. They work together really, really well.
Don't disagree, just that you got to do it, I think, more than a year before you start to get some of that recognition. And he just didn't even play a full year at that spot last year.
And Julian Love's been a Pro Bowler and started to get his name out there and started taking the ball away. And I think opposing teams and those coaches know that you better have an eye on Julian Love because he's got an eye on you. And the more continuity should certainly benefit the back end of that.
He's got an eye on you. I like that. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. For whatever it's worth, the NFC executive quoted said, range, dart, combo of physicality and ball production has developed into a high-end player, remarkable for a guy that was primarily a corner in college. Dart.
Did you say dart?
Yeah. Range, dart, combo of physicality and ball production.
Dart like a noun?
Yeah,
Dart
I
like a
guess.
verb.
Like he's got great dart. I don't know.
Never heard that. That's a new one to me.
I know. Well, there you go. You can use that, Brock, at your next coaching meeting. Talk about which kids have the most dart.
You got dart.
Yeah, I'm sure the kids will all love that. I'm sure they'll all get it. Okay, let's open up those phone lines, Maura. 866-979-3776. And we're giving away Mariners tickets to see the Astros on July 20th here at T-Mobile. Battle, hopefully, by that point for first place.
And the canvas is theirs, right? Like, they can paint it if they want to do a count, runners on. Like, if they, whatever they want to do here, right?
Songs, because those kind of stood out. Sorry, I look like I'm telling ghost stories right now. We're having light issues back here. But we played songs because those kind of jumped out last time because they were different. But you can still do a more traditional home run call. Just make it creative.
Yeah, just make it memorable, make it creative, whatever you want to do. That was a Julio call from a few years ago, but these are Cal Raleigh home run calls with tickets on the line. So let's bring that creativity out. 866-979-3776. We'll give those tickets away next on Brock and Salk.
Jordan Schusterman every Wednesday morning at 11 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports.
How do you foresee this rotation shaping out before the All-Star break?
I certainly don't think that's the last we will see of Emerson Hancock this season. I will be interested to see if Logan Evans can make a push to replace him at some point, how they kind of go back and forth between both of those guys. I think from a workload standpoint, I have to imagine they want to be a little bit more careful with Evans.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
All right, guys, it's summer. I know today doesn't feel like it, but it will again tomorrow, and it's about to start getting really, really hot. So that's everything that goes with this, right? Vacations, the kids are out of school, maybe camps, weekend trips, so you're busy. So maybe you're thinking it's too hard, too busy to start that diet, workout, weight loss plan. Come on, don't make another excuse. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is going to make it so easy for you, you're not even going to feel like you're adding one more thing to your already busy life. Nope, you're going to be subtracting a lot of weight. I did it, lost 35 pounds. Ryan Rowland Smith subtracted about 30. We had a listener recently who was down 42 with more to go. Yeah, summer's actually a really good time to do this. You'll have a lot more energy, you'll have a lot more fun, and you're going to look good in the process and not feel hungry because the way the program works, you eat good food, it tastes good, and you buy it all at the grocery store, and it fills you up. Dr. Coogan has worked with over 4,000 local people to deliver successful results, so be the next. Schedule that 15-minute consult with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we don't just promise to get the job done, we back it up. No travel charge, no show-up fee, no overinflated pricing, and no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional each and every day. O'Neill Plumbing.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They are here 24/7. 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 984 402.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
Lift off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
425 says, I just about spit my coffee out when Brock said love has his eye on me. What does that even mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. Dart. Don't worry about it.
I'm not gonna worry about it, but it is pretty funny. 253 says, I went cold turkey on Saturday night. I quit smoking. I haven't had one now in almost 5 days. Speaking of darts, holla, if I can do that, Julio can start hitting dingers. So let's go. All right. Well, that's a Julio thing. This is a Cal thing. Cal has been hitting dingers, 36 of them this year. And so we've had a lot of opportunities for Gary and Rick and Aaron and other folks to give great home run calls for Cal.
Oh, and Gary had a great one last week. You were out. You were sleeping in till 10.
Yep.
I think we played it 3 times, had Gary on the show. It's something along the lines of Cal being a walking history book or something. It was just awesome.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Oh, it's really, really good.
All right, well,
yes.
We've got at least 6 people on the phone right now with tickets on the line because Cal and his whole crew are going to be kicking off the second half of the season at home AL West showdown against the Astros at T-Mobile Park. That starts, on the 18th with 80s firework night. I think I might go to that with Avery. She kind of wants to go. And you can get tickets for all the games during the homestand at mariners.com/tickets. We've got tickets for, I think, the 20th. So I think it's the 3rd game of that homestand against the Astros. And we will be
Sunday
giving them to the best call that we hear. Are you ready, Brock?
I'm going to write names down, Salk, and you know
Always.
how I am in these things. I'm very, very judgy.
I do.
Very judgy.
And there's some familiar names and some new names on
Okay.
here. So we'll get this going with Christy, who is in Yakima. Good morning, Christy.
Good morning.
Christy, give us your best Cal Raleigh call.
Here's the pitch to Cal. Wow, I'm calculating. It's a Raleigh ball over the wall. Or, I'm calculating. It's a Raleigh ball over the wall.
Christie, that's something. That's a great start to this competition.
I don't know who she was channeling there.
I don't either. But it was a good song. There was a little.
Was that Goldie?
There was a pun in there, which I kind of like. So, all right, Christy, I'm going to put you on hold. The way this works is, once someone gets eliminated, we'll just kind of hang up on them, essentially. So, right now, Christy obviously is the leader in the clubhouse.
Calculating.
Whoever's online too just hung up because I think they felt they couldn't equal what Christy. Like once you know you can't do it, you hang up. So that clears a line. That clears a line. 866-979-3776. Let me try Todd, who is in Auburn. Todd, give us your best Cal Raleigh call.
Yes, gentlemen. Well, we'd like to welcome you back from our commercial break. Riz's Hair Club for Men, where you too can look like the sportscaster. That's Riz's Hair Club for Men, where you too can look like a sportscaster. We've got Cal up at the plate. And what is this? Is this Mike Trout, bottom of 7? Mike Trout's coming in to pitch, but he's tripped, folks. Mike Trout is tripped on the way to the mound. It looks bad. I think he's going to be out for the year. They've already made the call to the bullpen. They're calling in a guy. All I know, he's from AAA. It looks like he had decent numbers. Irving Freely, middle initial P. So he's up at the plate, or he's up on the mound and the pitch. First pitch fastball, swung on and belted deep to left field. On the way, home run, big thumper for the big dumper. Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing history once again. Cal Raleigh, ladies and gentlemen, he just continues to amaze. Cal Raleigh, let's all congratulate the guy on more and more history.
All right. Well, Todd, we only have 20 minutes, so I don't know. we have to cut you off here at some point. Brock, who do you have in the lead, Todd or Christy?
Yeah, next push.
Neither. Brock not impressed with. Well, I gotta get rid of one of them. Who should I get rid of?
Well, you almost dumped him for peeing freely.
That's true. So you want to get rid of Todd? All right. Sorry, Todd.
Yeah.
That's going to do it. That'll open another line. We'll go to Jeff and Kent. Jeff, so far a fairly low bar for you. Let's see if you can climb over it.
Come on, Jeff.
Park the garbage truck, Rick. The big dumpers dropped another one in the trash can.
So dumb.
What did he say?
He said that he's parked another one in the trash can because it's a
Park the garbage truck. Big dumpers dropped another one in the trash can, Rick.
No, he's done it twice. Brock, how does that compare to Christy, or is she still in the lead? I think Christy's still in the lead.
Okay.
How about you? All right.
Calculating.
Sorry, Jeff. That's it. Yeah, that was good, but calculating is still the winner. Good thing we've got some time to go. Russ is in Sela. What's up, Russ? Good morning. Sela. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Russ.
Well, that's all right. Sela's great anyway.
Where is Sela? I don't even know where that is.
I know where Sela is.
I
That's
do?
where Damon's wife Julie's from, where her dad coached right outside of Yakima.
All right, but I don't know where that is.
You sat at the table with Julie, okay? You should know.
She was on the other side of the table. All right, Russ, what's your home run call?
We bring you the treetop apple juice from Sela, so you're welcome.
Okay.
All right, ready? Oh, my gosh, Becky, look at his butt. It is so big and so round. He looks like one of the Mariners' boppers. Cal Raleigh, I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Russ, that's definitely going to take the lead, don't you think, Brock? I was not expecting that. And the Valley Girl accent really put it over the top. So
But it's got to be a home run call.
Oh, shoot. I just dropped Russ. Darn it. I didn't mean to.
No, there was no home run call with it. There was no.
Oh, so you're saying no. Even though he did
song.
Look at her, look at his butt. I figured that would be right up your alley.
No, it's a home run call.
All right, well, I accidentally dropped Russ, so sorry about that. Rich is in Auburn. Rich, good morning. Give us your best home run call for Cal Raleigh.
All right. Julio's on second. It's a 3-1 count. Cal Raleigh up to the plate. It's crushed. It's going deep right field. I hope everybody out there in right field listen to Patches O'Houlihan. They better dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge, because the big dumper dumped it out there, and the man have cut the lead to 7 runs to the New York Yankees.
All right, there's some pretty good humor in that one. That's pretty good. All right, we'll put you on hold, Rich.
Did you guys get the reference in there?
Yeah, we did. Thanks.
Oh, good. I'm just checking.
Yeah, I did. I don't know if Brock did.
Pants on fire.
No. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. You know that one, Brock?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good.
Next.
I got the Patches O'Houlihan. I'm on that one. Do you know who played Patches O'Houlihan?
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's the same guy who did Brockmire. Hank Azaria, right? No?
No, it's Rip Torn, isn't it?
No.
I think Salk's right.
Pretty sure that's Rip Torn.
Oh, you know who I'm thinking of?
Somebody else?
No, the Patches O'Houlihan who's in the actual video and describing dodgeball to all the players.
That could be.
Yeah. That was Hank Azaria, who's Brockmire.
Maybe. I don't know. But that, yeah. All right, I got to get rid of Christy. Sorry, Christy, but Rich is now in the lead. Let's go to Steve in Buckley. What's up, Steve? Give us a Cal Raleigh home run call.
Hey, how you doing? Here we go. And the 0-2 pitch on the way to Cal. It is smoked to right field. It is deep. It is gone. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Now, Brock, that appeals to you right there.
It kind of plays.
Yeah? You want me to keep him on hold?
I'd keep him, yeah.
All right, so Steve is on hold along with Rich at the moment. So, Raleigh-luya. I think what's his name from the Yankees broadcast back in the day would like that one. What's his name?
That guy.
John Sterling?
John Sterling, thank you.
All right, here comes the judge.
Just the worst. Just absolute. Do you have a least favorite John Sterling call?
I think well.
And is it hip hip Jorge?
That one's bad. I think when he just misses home run calls that are flyouts to left field that he thinks are gone are bad.
Those are pretty bad.
Honestly, you know what? If you want one of his catchphrases.
An A-bomb from A-Rod.
You know what I think the worst one is when either Brian McCann hits a home run and he starts singing like, oh, McCann can. Like that one's bad. And then he literally started singing a song once. You know, like, what's the song? The sun will come out tomorrow. Tanaka threw a complete game once. He's like, the sun will come out, Tanaka. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awful.
It was not for Brian McCann. That was Curtis Granderson. It was the Grandy Man can, as if he was the Candy Man. All right, here is Wydell in Spokane. Wydell, the bar right now is dodgeball and Raleigh-luya, so give us the best you got.
All right, this is me doing my best Steve Rabel impersonation of the Cal Raleigh home run. Swinging the drive. Deep to left field. That ball's going. Are you kidding me? Holy catfish. He just took that pitch and placed it on top of the Space Needle. Kyle Raleigh with another home run.
It's actually a pretty good impression.
Not bad.
Yeah. The "Are you kidding me" part is really good.
Yeah, I'm picturing Wydell's family, friends.
It's pretty good.
In the house, wondering what in the world is Wydell doing.
That's pretty good. I don't think it cracks the top 2 yet, though.
No,
Would you agree, Brock? All right. So sorry, Wydell. Very good impression.
Yep.
But yeah, you're not ahead of Steve or Rich. Let me try Aaron in the Couve. Aaron, what do you got?
Good evening. Welcome to another great game here. We got in the bottom of the 7th. Against the Twins, it's the 3-2 count. Cal Raleigh's up. We got Master Boney at second base. That pitch. Swung on and built it. I cannot believe this is out to deep left field. My, oh my, Magic wins once again here at T-Mobile Field. Cal Raleigh, you have done it. Oh my, can it, Matt? My, oh my.
That was pretty funny.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Not a winner, but
I
pretty
had to
funny.
go back on that one.
Yeah, that's taking it old school. I like that. That's pretty good. But
I like that.
yeah, but that doesn't. That's not gonna work.
Oh, really?
Let me try Richard in Federal Way. Richard, what do you have?
How y'all doing today? We're here in Houston today. The Seattle Mariners are down by 3. The bases are loaded, and the big dumper is coming up to do his thing. Here we go. The first pitch. It's out of here! Houston, you have a problem! Houston, I say it again. You have a problem! And they're not like us.
has anything to do with Cal Raleigh, but I do like it. Brock, what do you think?
He's
I
in the
did say
running.
the big dumper is coming up at bat.
Yeah.
That was about the only part, but I'll take it. All right, Richard, I'll tell you what. That's a top 2
Good
call so
juice.
far. So
That's good
let me
juice.
keep
Thank you.
Richard on.
You
Brock,
want to get rid of Hallelujah or Dodgeball? Lyle, get rid of Hallelujah. You were the former
yeah, which do
broadcaster.
you like better? Did you like Hallelujah or did you like the dodgeball call?
I like the dodgeball call.
Okay, so we'll get rid of Hallelujah, which was
Sorry, Steve.
Sorry, Steve. We gotta let you go. That
Stephen Buckley.
you did a good
Liked
job,
it.
but I gotta drop you. Sorry, Steve. Okay, so that puts Richard with
with Rich.
With the Houston, they have a problem. So it's Richard and Rich right now. We got a couple more minutes. We can take one or two more.
Yeah, let's do 2 more.
2 more. All right, I got Jake and Linwood. Jake, you got one of just a couple chances left here. Why don't you give us your Cal Raleigh home run call?
Okay. Can't you see him batting here? He's got a backside that ain't lean. He's gonna give us a lead. He's the MVP. Might as well dump. Might as well dump. Go ahead and dump. Go ahead and dump. That's what I got.
Well, that's the best one so far, Brock. I got to tell you, if you're going to go Van Halen jump, I think that is the best we've had
Definitely
so
catering
far.
to the judge.
Yeah,
as
hey.
far as Salk.
Well, so was Steve with his Hallelujah, right? I mean, okay.
I mean, did Jake know that jump is what the bridesmaids and groomsmen went down the aisle to?
I don't think he did. How would he?
No.
How would he know that? All right, Jake, hang on.
Way to go.
Brock, I think that's going to do it for Rich, right?
Rich?
Yeah. I'm keeping right now, Houston, we have a problem in jump.
Okay.
Are you with me on that?
Sure. Go
All right,
ahead.
let me, sorry, Rich.
This is
Appreciate
it?
that, but I got to drop
is it?
you. Yeah, last chance. Should we go to Nick? Let's try Nick. Nick or John Mora? Who should I give the last chance to? Nick or John?
Oh boy. Let's see. Nick.
Nick. Okay. Nick's been hanging on the longest. Nick, you got the last chance to try to unseat one of these guys. Give us your best Cal Raleigh home run call.
Stroman on the bump, top of the ninth. Cal's going to bat lefty. He's got the torpedo bat ready to roll. We've got Young on second, Crawford on third, and Julio on first. Here comes the pitch. This ball is swung on, and it is deep to left field. We've got Oppo Taco, Cal Raleigh with the big dumper, Oppo Taco dump load. Here we go.
That's terrible. That was awful. Nick, that was just terrible. That was the worst one so far.
No,
that
it
was
wasn't
really
the
bad.
worst.
Yeah, it was.
He was a little nervous.
No,
he
it
was
was
trying
bad.
to remember Cole on second, JP on third.
Yeah,
What's
Nick,
the
I'm sorry.
order?
That was don't
Got in
quit
his
your day
head a little
job.
bit.
You are not going to be a play-by-play guy. Nick, that was terrible.
Nick.
Nothing from you, Nick? I thought you'd at least have a response. What happened?
It just all fell apart.
It's
Cut
tough
that
when the
more.
light
If the
goes
Mariners lose 10 in a row in September, we'll be playing that drop over and over again. It just all fell
I feel like
apart.
the Mariners the last 2 days. My bad.
Nick, you redeemed yourself. Thank you. All right.
Way to go.
So that leaves us, Brock, with Richard and Jake. Kind of want to hear a little more before I give this away. Okay? So let's meet the. You want to meet them a little bit, maybe, before we decide. We have Richard, who was giving us the Houston. We have a
Federal Way.
problem, and then Jake and Linwood going north, who had the jump song. Richard.
Richard, are you a Mariners fan?
Oh, most definitely. I've been up here. I moved up here 20 years ago from Alabama, and I became a avid Mariner fan right away, because I love baseball. That was my first sport, my very first sport I ever played.
Richard. So if you're a Mariners fan, Richard, who are the 2 Mariners in the Hall of Fame that Ichiro is going to join? Like if you're a Mariners fan, who are the 2 that are in Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame that he'll join?
I know Griffey is one. And the other one, I don't know if Felix made it or not. But but that's the one I know of for sure.
Edgar, you gotta go
like
Edgar.
I said, only been here 20 years, so I ain't in depth with the Hall of Famers yet, But I've been growing though. I've been growing lately.
Right.
I'm an avid football fan.
Growing
though.
like horizontally? Like what do you mean? You're getting fatter? What do you mean you're growing?
I ain't gonna grow no taller. I'm at 5'5" and stuff.
All right, Richard, hang on for just a moment. Hang on. Oh no! Darn it, Maura. Can you open the lines back up? I hung up on Richard. I hate this program. I'm sorry. I screwed it up. Richard, call us back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Richard. Let me lock in Jake before I do that. Okay, now I can't hang up on him. Jake, tell us a little bit more about you. What kind of Mariner fan are you?
Yeah, are you a fan or are you an Astros fan?
No. Long suffering. Let's just say I'm young enough to be in the place where most of my life up until 2022, I got to say that I had no memory of the Mariners making the playoffs year after year of futility.
How old are you? How old are you?
All the same.
Are you older than Lyle or not?
24.
Oh, younger than Lyle. You ever heard of Michael J. Fox?
So, somewhat.
Can you name a Beatles song?
Yeah. Eleanor Rigby, Yellow Submarine.
Okay, that's pretty good. Can you name a Beach Boys song?
You can describe Diamonds. Surfing USA.
All right, Lyle, you're the worst. Lyle,
I named a Beatles song when you asked.
Lyle, you're the worst, and because of it, Brock.
Yeah.
I think we go both. I kind of like both these guys.
Oh.
And I got Richard back on the line. If we could get a second pair of tickets, Richard, could we give one to you and one to Jake? Would you guys be okay, kind of sharing each with a pair of tickets?
Yeah. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, good, because that's what we're going to do. Maura was able to argue for a second pair of tickets. She went upstairs, banged on the door, and demanded it.
We don't even have lights in the studio right now. But I made sure to get both of you pairs of Mariners tickets in the dark.
Things are falling apart here, but we've got tickets for both you guys. So hang on the line. I'll try not to hang up on either of you guys. And Maura, you can pick them up and help them out with their tickets.
And to Christy and Todd and Jeff and Russ and Rich and Little Richard and Wydell and Steve and all of you, thank you for your creativity, for your courage.
That was, I got to be honest, Brock, that was one of the worst contests we've done. We've done these a lot. That was a very low bar that time.
You didn't think Nick finished it off well? You didn't think Nick really?
Was that the guy in Colfax?
That was the last guy.
That was horrendous. That was one of the worst we've ever had. That was terrible. As he said, it all fell apart on him. That was that was a bad contest. More a great idea. Poor execution by the listeners, I got to say. That was awful.
It goes to show how good Goldie and Rizzer and Gary and all of them are, right? On a daily basis, and hopefully the big dumper can get it going tonight. This is, obviously we're what? Yeah, I know. We're 90-some game, but it does. You just some of these because of circumstances, because of where they fit, because you don't want to start this road trip getting swept, right? And not to put
and then going
pressure.
to Detroit where you got swept last year,
where you're going to face Scooble over the weekend as well. You'd really like to find a way. Stroman has been on the struggle bus, that little guy, and it's been a challenge. I feel like we've hit him in the past as well when he's been a Blue Jay. Like, they know him. Most of these guys in the lineup have seen him. This would be really nice to just find a way to salvage at least one of these in the big eye.
Andrew at Elma says, I need more of Salk running the phones in my life. Yeah, I don't. This program, I hit the wrong button like every time. I'm sorry about that. That's on me. That I will. You guys did a bad job with the calls. I did a bad job also on running the whole call thing. So I think we can all own up to our various problems.
It's been a while. Tonight. We haven't done this in a while.
It's true.
So
we got out of
back
practice.
in a little rhythm.
All right. Well, congratulations to both Richard and Jake. I like the I should ask Jake what his singing background is. So could have learned a little bit more about him. 206. Whose idea was it to kill time with this contest? No, it was Maura's idea, and it was a good one. It just didn't work as well. Sorry. What do you want in my life?
You're only as good as a content creator.
You know what we should do for these next time, though, to avoid this problem? Is we could do that on the Here's the Thing app.
Yes.
Right? So people could leave their calls ahead of time.
We could have also played, some of the great calls to kind of set them up a little.
Yeah, that's true.
They had to go kind of.
All right, so there's some execution issues on our end also.
Yep.
All right, well, everybody takes a little responsibility, for sure. Also, you guys were awful. We'll be back tomorrow morning on a Friday. Brock's going to be in as well. G. Scott's going to come by. He's got all sorts of weird stuff he wants to ask us about. Bump and Stacy are in next. Until 6 tomorrow morning, the Hay
Barn.
See everybody.
Adios.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
The countdown is on.
13 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners drop game 2 to the Yankees. They've given up 19 runs in 2 games. That's not great. If there is a positive take, though, from this one, it's 4 home runs from Seattle, including a first for rookie Cole Young. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Game 3 today at 4:05 p.m.